ALR, and we're on round 15 of ALR, the ALR Formula 1 World Championship, and that's not a very good start, is it? As I'm just quickly. There we go. So let me just quickly share the stream, and then we can get going and racing. Of course, we're here at Singapore. Then the night race. I think, is it technically the only night race this season? Well, in theory it is, but whether it actually is or not, I don't know. Because of course we do have two other night races in Bahrain and in Abu Dhabi. Night race was the other two. The other two is only desk races as well. As let me just quickly throw the stream out then to the season guys, and well, the season 2 guys, and we'll get ready to race then. And that's an appalling start, isn't it, to this commentary? It's because I've literally had dinner, so it's kind of like going down the wrong way at the moment. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, so we're here in Singapore then. We have 23 turns around here. It's a very tight and twisty track. This is going to be one of the longest tracks, tracks in terms of time on the calendar. This is going to be nudging well over an hour of racing here tonight. That's just in the race as well. So qualifying also nudges along. It's usually longer than race, isn't it? But I think tonight it might be actually shorter. So as you can see, look at the splendid buildings around Singapore here tonight. Then, and we are about to get racing in Singapore, and of course we're in Q1. Well, we've got 17 drivers tonight, a little lower than what we normally have. We've had a couple of late dropouts, unfortunately, so which is not ideal, but we've got 2 new drivers here tonight. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do. Then they're very I'm sure they're very keen to get going. And also you might notice we have a returnee as well. Of course, the one of the fan favorites, that is Twang, who of course was a full-time racer in the Mercedes at the beginning of the season, but unfortunately had to step aside. So it's great to see Twang back and ready to get going then. And we're almost ready to get going as well. Let me get the stream up on the phone end, so I actually know what I'm talking about. Yeah, of course I've also got all my script ready as well. Anyway, yeah, so we are ready to get going, and Laggy has left the session end, so that's a good start, isn't it? He definitely does live up to his name, doesn't he? Laggy has. I want to say about his incredible race he had on Friday, but I might leave that if he ain't in at the moment. So then we're here in Singapore. Well, he's back now, so excellent stuff. So let's just say a warm welcome then to BFD and also to Gamer then, both the 2 drivers then who are new to the league racing scene. It's great to see him, man. It's great to see him racing as well. So looking forward to see what those guys do. And it's also a big, huge welcome back to the Renault driver, to Twang, of course. He will be driving the Renault in replacement of Granty, who is of course went race tonight, man. He had a fantastic win at last time up, didn't he, in Italy? So that's so that really narrowed the gap down as well. I'm going to go through the championship in just a few moments. And of course we got a new full-time driver, and that is new F1. Of course, he made his debut in Italy last week. He took pole position in a fantastic style as well. He took pole position, new F1, and he got on the podium. So he is a star of the future, no doubt. And here is the newbie. Here is the debutant. It is BFD coming out of the pits now. And so he is coming out of the pits now, and the pit entry is very, very difficult around here. Car number 9 then, taking the number of Ericsson then. So here comes a BFD then, accelerating away, and he is the first one out of the pits. And we've got 17 drivers around here, so we are going to be losing 2 drivers then in this first qualifying session. We're on board then with BFD right now, and as you can see, this is his first league race, so I wonder how nervous he's going to be. It's great to have you all alongside us as well. I must admit, there's been a lot of comments straight away off the bat. I love it. Of course, Jonathan Cox said, "Good evening, Sean. Been practicing and has a superb lap. In practice." Yeah, of course, Jonathan is saying that his time trial times was very strong around here, and there's so we're looking to see how well he does. And Laggy Racers and 2 Belgians on the grid. Let's go. Of course, the other Belgian, Laggy, of course, was the first Belgian. The second Belgian was Gamer. So it's great to have 2 Belgians on the grid here tonight. Then it's really good indeed. Then we've also got Broke Gorilla. Then good evening, Sean. Had to go to work, but good luck to everyone. Of course, Broke Gorilla, a former driver in his own right as well. We've got Twang there. Let's go. And Laggy, this game. We got Grillsy, good luck everyone. And Jonathan, of course, R10 Kravix, isn't he, of ALR? He is saying this drive for qualifying on the race, which I'm sure a lot of drivers are going to be very happy about, actually, because I think that a couple of drivers would have been nervous, because this is one of the track that can tend to have a sprinkling of rain on there. So I think the drivers are going to be very happy with that indeed. And Laggy can't drive now, unfortunately. So hopefully, hopefully he can get that sorted out, because that's going to be a big blow for Laggy. Of course, this is a very tough race to overtake on. So qualifying is absolutely king around here. So it's going to be interesting that. UF1, hello Sean, hello, hello. Hope you're doing well today, and I really good luck in the race. And of course, can he? That's UF1. Can he get his second pole position in 2 weeks? That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Oh, and Laggy can now take control. So excellent. So Laggy is now ready to go then in this qualifying session, and that is good stuff indeed. So that would have been one driver gone already then. So as we're watching BFD then coming into the Red Bull down into turn 7. Then of course that's the infamous corner where Massa and Hamilton clashed, didn't they, in 2011, and also Webber and Hamilton clashed there as well in 2010. I think it was then as. Yeah, just quickly get rid of all the notifications, and we're ready to go then. So at the moment, Emerson is leading the championship at the moment. He is 13 points in front of he's 13 points in front of Granty. So potentially, because Granty ain't races today, this is a good opportunity for Emerson, and yellow flag in free. This is a good opportunity for Emerson to really take control of this championship. Farf is 42 points behind at the moment. Of course, he's had a difficult couple of races. Remember at the start of the season, he was really the man to beat. Farf is third at the moment. Jonathan Cox is 43 points behind at the moment, currently in 4th position. Then we've got Murphy, who's moved up into 5th. We moved up to 5th with Nigel dropping down to 6th. Then we've got Exile 7th with Ryan Shaw 8th. Mr. Elite is up to 9th. In 10th position is Stringy. The biggest mover last week was yellow flags are still fluttering in sector 3 at the moment, just on board with BFD. Then he's coming across the line now. We're in turn 22 and then into 23. He swoops across the line and he has done a 141.9 there for the Red Bull driver then. So you can see this is a long old lap, isn't it? And here comes Gamer now. We're on board Gamer then. He is another man then. Another man who is, of course, making his debut tonight. I wonder how. I know Ross is. BFD's time does not actually count because he invalidates time, so he's going to go around again. Anyway, coming back to the championship, yeah, Gunnar has moved up 4 positions after that incredible drive in Italy. Can he replicate that today? And Roscoe also another big mover up 3 positions as well. In the constructors, we have Toro Rosso still leading, but only just by 9 points now. That gap is coming down quite quickly now, isn't it, the Toro Rosso guys? But they're still in front of Renault, who are 9 points back, with Haas in 3rd position. 4th is Racing Point with Alfa Romeo 5th. Ferrari have moved up to 6th with Red Bull dropping down to 7th. They've dropped down like a stone in recent races, haven't they, Red Bull? So they need to get themselves going, aren't they? Gamer's done a 37.6, a good time there for the Alfa Romeo driver. Of course, he is making his debut in ALR tonight, so yeah, that's a very competitive time to start off. And Ross, and BFD is in the wall. He's in the wall coming out of the Anderson Bridge there for Ross, so he is going to have to he's going to have to come back in the pits. Fisher has done a 35.999 recurring. Brilliant time there from the Mercedes driver. And really, he should be on the front row, shouldn't he? Back in Italy, but unfortunately had a 5-place grid penalty. Hope can Fisher get it together and get himself on pole position. It'd be impressive if he does. Stringy has just gone through in a 2nd position in the McLaren then, so good time there from Stringy. Steve is up into 5th position at the moment. He's on the medium compound tyres. New F1 is done a 36.8 in the Renault, his first time out in the Renault as well. Just finish off the constructors. Williams is 9th, and 10th position is Mercedes. And yeah, so this is going to be very interesting as well. Steve then is on the medium tyre then, and BFD is having a bit of troubles at the moment. They're just trying to get the car around. Here comes Emerson, the championship leader in the Haas. Exile's also coming over the Anderson Bridge. Well, here comes Twang then. Oh, lovely pink helmet there for Twang, and he's just coming under the grandstand there, and now accelerating out, coming into the final part of the track. Very technical indeed, and he is just he's getting the car warmed up and ready to go. Jonathan out on track at the moment as well. Here comes Laggy. He's just started a race then. Started a lap. Roscoe is in the pits at the moment. We're just taking a look because we've got a yellow flag flying out there, and it says, I think it's Gamer just getting out of the way at the moment. So Emerson then, we're on board with Emerson in the Haas, and he is coming through over the Anderson Bridge, and it's very tight and twisty around Singapore, isn't it? Just coming over the Anderson Bridge now then. Of course, remember, I've got to remind everyone we just had a look at Hunter, who just said his start last year, it was absolutely phenomenal, wasn't it? It was the start of the year for me. It was brilliant stuff. Of course, Hunter, a runner-up in the first season of ALR. Of course, only did 4 races this season. I think he was in the Haas, wasn't he, to start off with? But unfortunately, Hunter is held up his steering wheel, and he is now no longer a driver, unfortunately. But of course, he was runner-up in the first season, along with Nigel. So he was second, only to Nigel. We know how quick Nigel is. Talking of quick, here comes Emerson coming across the line now, and he's up into second at the moment on a 36.1. Fisher is the benchmark as it stands currently. Got Laggy out on track at the moment. He is in the final sector now. You can see, look at the curves, and they're being bolted down, and they have to be welded down. And yeah, as I was saying then, but what was I saying? I don't really know, to be honest. So we're just on board Laggy then, and you can taking a good old bit of control. On Friday night, Laggy was absolutely in inspired form, wasn't he? He almost won a race on the Friday night racing, didn't he? He was absolutely phenomenal, Laggy was. Of course, he got third in the end. It was a brilliant result. Can he replicate it here tonight? Well, he's been looking forward to this Singapore Grand Prix, hasn't he? He is 7th at the moment in the standings, just behind his countryman, Gamer, who is 6th. Twang goes, of course, Twang, your ALR favourite, isn't he? Very experienced driver as well. He has gone 5th fast at the moment. I'm wondering if there's going to be a bit of race rest from a Twang then. Sam is out on track at the moment in the Mercedes car 19 as well, just swooping through, and he is on the back straight at the moment as well then, as you can see. So he's just come down to, it used to be the Singapore sling, didn't it? But now they've made that turn so much more easier now, hasn't it? It's not really I must admit, I do prefer the old Singapore sling. And now as they're coming down then the boulevard then, as he's coming into the final sector now of Singapore. I must remind you that next week and the week after we are having a 2-week break. So yeah, so it's going to be 2 weeks break, of course, because we are in Mexico and America. So of course, those American races in Formula 1 will clash with our start time. So ALR will be taking a 2-week break, which is a shame, really, isn't it? But I wonder who is that going to impact. Or some drivers might be happy with that 2-week break. Really, if they've been struggling on form, it does depend how well this race goes as well, doesn't it? Really. Anyway, Sam there coming across the line now. He's done a 39. That's a good time there for Sam then. He is just 0.3 of a second away from Steve at the moment, who is 9th position then. We got Nigel out on track at the moment. And of course, Nigel was the last year's race winner, wasn't he? He won fine style, didn't he? But I think it was Jacob who got pole position. Jacob had an incredible pole position. What was the pole position last year? 1 second, because I think I've got it in my pre-race notes. It was a pole position last year. It was a 1:35.070. Well, we're about 9/10 away from that at the moment. Of course, track evolution will be a big factor later on in this race, later on in this qualifying session. So yeah, I think the track evolution is a major, especially around street circuits like this. Of course, most of this track is more a street rather than a permanent racetrack, isn't it? I think this part is the only permanent racetrack. And look at Nigel there, drifting around the final 2 turns, and he has gone 5th fastest at the moment. Then the defending ALR champion. I think he's still in a chance to win. He's definitely in a chance to win this championship, because this championship has been absolutely. The form book's been thrown out the window, hasn't it? Jonathan Cox there is the sole racing point here tonight. Here comes Roscoe then, just coming around then out of the Anderson Bridge then, and now down the back straight. And yellow flags are floating in 1. Just seeing what's going on in 1. Murphy's out on track at the moment, and Sam now just coming in the pits then. So yeah, Roscoe then coming down then Raffles Boulevard then, and now flying it into the chicane. And I think this is turn 19, isn't it? Of course, that's where PK crashed on purpose, wasn't he? And then gifted the win to his teammate Alonso, didn't he? Of course, that was Crashgate, wasn't it? So of course, that was the first year that we was ever in Singapore, wasn't it? And to be honest, it was a really good race. I think it would also be remembered when Massa drove away with his fuel line still attached, with his fuel rig still attached, wasn't it? So as Roscoe, as Nigel has retired from the race. Right, Nigel is the first guy gone, and where's he gone? I think he's in sector 2. Just taking a look to see whereabouts that is. Just on board with Gunnar, and that is a big blow for Nigel, isn't it? So he is going to be the first one to go out of this qualifying session, and this is one of the worst tracks where you would want to start from the back, because of course overtaking around here is absolutely difficult, isn't it? So of course pole position is going to be absolute king around here, like it is in Monaco, isn't it? So it's very difficult to overtake. But Nigel is going to be starting at least 15th in this race later on. So this is a major blow, isn't it? For Nigel, as we're just on board. Gunnar is on a lap, Murphy's on a lap, then Sam is Sam again, a lot of kicking up the rear end then quite a bit then, as he was just accelerating out there. Roscoe is also a couple of tenths down. He's 4 tenths down at the moment. So here's Murphy then. He's on lap at the moment. Murphy is really starting to become in the form of his life. It's been Friday night racing. He's had 2 wins, hasn't he? Can he get a win in the ALR? He's got 3 pole positions this year, if I'm not much mistaken. He has got 3 pole positions. He's had 5 podiums and 2 fastest laps, but he's in the wall. He's in the wall. He's gone into the wall. So just as I say that, Murphy is in the wall, and I think I've jinxed him. And oh dear. So Murphy then is having a oh dear. So that's a shame for Murphy then. So that's his time gone. This is a very long lap around here. So you've got to. I think it's going to be very tight, isn't it, for Murphy to come back out? But yeah, Murphy's in the wall, and we've got Farf, who's had a problem. And Farf has gone into the back of it's gone to the back of Gamer, hasn't he? Oh no! So Farf has got a 5-place grid penalty. Well, what a shame. Ayrton has just said. Oh, Jack has just said, "Hey up, Ginger." Of course, hello, Jack. Because he's also a part of the Midwig, the MWR franchise, and as into the pits comes the Murphy, then of course to replace that front wing. And also we got Gunnar, who's out on track at the moment then, in the McLaren end, so let's see what we can do. But yeah, this is very difficult times there at the moment, isn't it? Farf has got a 5-place grid penalty for the collision with Gamer, and also Nigel's out qualified. Murphy's been in the wall then. That is 3 big names that have caused all sorts of issues, and we're only 14 minutes into this event here tonight. Gunnar then, of course, he had a sublime of the Italian Grand Prix, didn't he? Gunnar did. Can he replicate that here tonight? And as I said, then Jack, a part of the MWR franchise. Emerson's just said Team Emerson. So of course Emerson. I think the 1 week where they weren't watching, I think Emerson actually drove a sublime race back in Belgium, didn't he? That was his 4th win of the season. Nosey, of course, who is enjoying life in Mexico. I hope he's having a good holiday, and he says good luck, guys. Well, unfortunately the luck has ran out on Farf and Murphy at the moment. Murphy's only got 3 minutes to get in and get back out there. We've also got Twang saying, "Don't get your hopes up too much for me today, mate." Of course, well, Twang ain't doing too bad, is he, on his return? He's in 6th at the moment, so flying the flag nicely for Renault. Remember, Renault could potentially take the lead in the constructors here tonight if things go their way. Gunnar has gone 11th fastest at the moment in the McLaren. Roscoe coming around the farm turn, and he has improved to 10th now. The Scotsman. He had a great race in Italy. Of course, him and Laggy did come together, but of course he had an awful whip of oversteer, didn't he? Really, and Laggy was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just saying. Oh, and that's a BFD who's having an issue there again in the Red Bull, and I think it's in Section 1. I think it's a very tough race, isn't it, to make your debut on tonight for a BFD. So hopefully he can. Hopefully then, as he damaged his front wing, he has, so he's going to have to come back in and come back out. I think the BFD might be the first man to be eliminated from this qualifying session, along with Nigel and maybe Murphy and Farf as well, as he's just come through the Anderson Bridge now. And as also we got lots to say, next time you're on comms for a race, am I able to get my last lap on Q3? Never gets aired. Oh. Well, yeah. I'll definitely give it a go, as MUF1 is retired from the session. We've also got Fisher. Good evening. Good evening, Fisher. I hope you're doing well. Say, well, I think he's probably doing absolutely fantastically well, isn't he? Because he's in the box seats at the moment. He has retired from the session because he's happy with his time. So definitely well indeed. Shelby has just said it's far like WTF. And also we've got Twang saying, no pressure then, I can help Renault take the lead in the constructors, and my teammate is way quicker than me. Yes, well, to be honest, I think Twan there will be a bit of race rusty, won't he? But it's great to have Twan back in the back on the grid, isn't it? Yeah, of course, it was him and Boden. It was Team Norway Racing, wasn't they, in the Mercedes at the beginning of the season? As Gunnar comes into the pits, Sam is out there at the moment. We've also got Murphy, who's just on an out at the moment. Farf is on an outlap as well. So Farf has got he's on the other side of the track at the moment. So Murphy's going to start us up now. When he was on board with him earlier, he went straight on at I think it was at the Anderson Bridge, wasn't it? I must admit, I was looking down to just checking out his stats at the moment. I must admit, the Ferrari qualifying battle between Murphy and Laggy is actually one of the closest, isn't it? At the moment, it's 7-5 in the favour of Murphy, but only just. So yeah, Laggy is done really well in the qualifying this year. Of course, Murphy does a bit of lag there. Murphy, of course, has got 3 pole positions this season, hasn't he? But it seems to. but he has seemed to struggle in qualifying session and other events, hasn't it? And he has damaged that front wing again, hasn't he? So this is all going a bit pear-shaped, isn't it, for the for Murphy at the moment? Of course, he is 5th in the championship. BFD Ross has just said that that was a bit terrible for him. Of course, Ross is making. Of course, he is making his debut tonight, isn't he? In the Red Bull. So. Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's a very difficult way. He's technically in at the moment, so it's all to play for, isn't it? Farf has only just got about 9 seconds, so basically it's all or nothing for Farf now. He has to qualify, because technically, as it stands, BFD is through, and Nigel is technically through as well, so we could potentially use 3 drivers on board Dan now then, as he is on the... soft tires, and he is in the middle sector now. We've also got Twine saying shout out to TNR, love it. Well, you know, to be honest, I must admit, if I am given a set of rules, I never abide to them anyway, because as soon as I read something, I would just say it anyway. Murphy then coming through the turn at 21 then, and also we've got Stringy. Evening, boys. Yes, good evening, Stringy. Stringy has started off very well, hasn't he? He's 4th in the moment, whereas Murphy stopped himself. He is 9th, so Murphy has got through then. So unfortunately, we have lost at BFD. He's out of qualifying in the Red Bull, so that's a shame now. But but I think it's going to be a very hopefully he can get himself going in the race and on board Farf at the moment as he is coming through the Anderson Bridge then. And oh, he's gone off, that's Farf, it's going to be out. It's both Red Bulls there out of qualifying already. That is not a good start to the event at all, is it, for Farf? And well, I think he would be out. So unfortunately, we've lost Ross, and we're also going to lose Farf as well, I think, in this session. Was Farf given enough time there to get himself back out? Nigel at the moment then is still technically in qualifying, but he ain't gonna be able to take part because you have to get the car back into the pits under its own steam, and that is not. And that is not good at all. As Twang just said, Laggy's been cutting corners. Well, so I wonder if he was just trying to get back to the pits then. So this is a turnout for the books, isn't it? Because Farf, I think that's it for Farf, isn't it? And he's coming through the final turn now. Then he is going to. You can see, look at the understeer there. He has done a 40. I think it was a 43. So I think that still might be last. I think it is last for Farf. Wow, that's a big shock, isn't it? Remember, Farf is 3rd in the championship, isn't he? And he's just not had it always go his way recently, has it? Farf, of course, he's had three wins in his ALR career, but it's really struggled, hasn't he? He hasn't won since Bahrain. Farf hasn't, so he needs to. It's not gone at all well for him. Anyway, we have lost 3 drivers in this session. Farf, who had a 5th-place grid penalty anyway for his collision with a gamer, which we did not see. We've also lost BFD as well, so that's both Red Bulls out once again. And also a former Red Bull driver and the man who won the championship with Red Bull last year, Nigel, is also out as well after he crashed in Sector 2. That'll take a minute. And yep, as I just had a quick read, yep, in the admin, yep, it's something to remind you all that there is a 2-week break, so it's a winter break, of course, for the American races. Did I say it? I think I said that. Yeah. Anyway, so so it's, next week and the week after we will not be racing in ALR, so as we'll be enjoying the Mexican and the USA Grand Prix. So yeah, looking forward to that one actually. I'm looking forward to those 2 races. Hopefully it'll be a good race. As Twan and Laggy Racer are having a eventful discussion in the comments about Laggy's quarter cutting. So as it says Norris. Twan has also said that there are some quick drivers out as well. And you also have to check his mirrors more often. Well, I suppose you do, don't you? Of course, it's mirror, signal, brake, or something like that, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, then Jonathan then is out on track at the moment. Then, of course, Jonathan, who's surprisingly this season hasn't got a pole position yet, has he? In other leagues, he's pretty quick on the 1-lap pace, but really struggled, hasn't he, at the moment? The British Italian, of course, made his of course it was his home Grand Prix last week. He carved his way up to 4th position, didn't he, before it went awry in the Ascari chicane there for Jonathan, which is a big shame. But can he make it right now? Of course, he was going to put some real pressure on there. He has to put some pressure on today, isn't he, with Farf, who's down in 17th position, and Grant is not here. I think it is definitely Emerson. Is definitely in the box seats already. Kind of Jonathan needs to mix it up, doesn't he? Really, he's 43 points behind Emerson as it stands going into this race. That is almost 2 race wins then, isn't it? But of course, as we've seen this season, anything can happen. Remember, Emerson just burst onto the scene, didn't he? And won three of his first 4 races incredibly well, didn't he? And of course, Monaco, of course, had a collision with Nosey, really, which that might have been half the reason why he did not win. So we'll blame Nosey on that front. And then now it's just coming through the start as that now. You can see then, so Q2 then, we're aiming to lose 4 cars, not 5. So we're aiming to lose 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th in this qualifying session. And the guys in the top 10 must start on the time which they set their fastest time. So that's, so for example, and that makes absolutely no sense, I know. So that means that if Jonathan sets his fastest time on these tyres, he must start on these exact tyres, not the compound but the exact tyre. So and he's brushed the wall there. Is he that though? Those wings are made quite strong, aren't they, up in Silverstone? And of course Racing Point, who is, I think is even though they're a Canadian team, they are based just on the outskirts of Silverstone, aren't they? And of course they were Jordan, weren't they, before they morphed into Midland, then they morphed into Spiker before morphing into Force India, and now they're Racing Point. So they've had all sorts of guys, haven't they, similar to the Renault team, which of course is based in Ecclestone, Enstone, that's just what I meant to say, not Bernie Ecclestone. So is Enstone. Of course they've had Lotus, they've had Benetton, now they have Renault a couple of times as well, didn't they? They were Renault between 2002 to 2011 before moving to Lotus, and then they've returned back to Renault. And so yeah, they've had a lot of team names as well. But we're just watching Jonathan then as he's coming into the final section then. And it's I must admit though, under these lights, the cars look absolutely stunning, don't they? So Emerson just said, perfect opportunity to extend his lead. Absolutely. Can he get the job done? No, Emerson. Of course, remember he won incredibly well in Belgium, didn't he? He won incredibly well in Canada. Him and Knowles had a good old duel in both those races. As Jonathan Cox gone on to a 36.4 there. Yeah, Knowles and Emerson had some cracking head-to-head battles, didn't they, in Canada and Monaco? Really enjoyed those battles. They were definitely probably going to be the highlights of the season, aren't they? Which says something, doesn't it? Because this season's been absolutely phenomenal so far, hasn't it? I think that there's going to be comparisons between season 1 and 2. It's Laggy there, very close to cutting the corner there, and you can see then he hit the curb there and it spat him out wide there to the exit of the wall. And here comes Laggy coming across the line now. He's running deployment, and he has gone second fastest at the moment on a 38.5. Remember, he loves this track, doesn't he, Laggy? So surely he has to be aiming for Q3, and of course he also wants to avenge what happened in Monza, where he probably should have had a lot of points scored that day, but as you said though, of course it does happen, doesn't it? And the yellow flag in 1. New F1 comes across the line and he goes second fastest. That's on the hard compound tire. That's a statement from New F1, isn't it? And as we said there, I think a New F1 is definitely a man for the future, isn't he? Maybe next season we could potentially see him challenge for the title. Here comes Twang then. Of course, Twang at the beginning of the season, his consistency was absolutely paying off, wasn't it? He was on the podium for the first 2 races. Twang comes across the line, he goes second. So Twang there has done a 36.7 there, so he ain't messing on the tyres or compounds, isn't he? He's going out there straight away on the soft and going for it straight away. Here comes Gamer now. Here's the Belgian driver, as Farfar has just said, OMG. So I'm not really sure what the OMG is about. Of course, I'm wondering if it might be about him getting knocked out of qualifying, or if something else has just got awry which we've missed. Well, here comes the Gamer now making his debut. He's doing a fantastic job, isn't he? He is third fast at the moment on the soft compound tyres, the Belgian driver is. He is doing a really good job out there, isn't he, Gamer is? It's great to have him a part of the ALR, the addition to the ALR. Fisher is gone at second at the moment then in the Mercedes. Can he keep out of trouble this week? Because when he's because I must admit, this man is very quick, isn't he? Remember in SNRS, him and Grant having a great old showdown, ain't they, for the title here tonight. And I think here in ALR hasn't really spun up that well yet, has it? But I think that he has the talent, doesn't he, to really show his stuff, Fisher. But yeah, I think that if he gets a clean weekend, that would definitely be something to make him like kick on for. Sam's gone 6th fast at the moment. Of course, he's getting better and better all the time. Here comes Steve, comes across the line, he goes 7th fast on the medium tyre. So Sam, of course, he was very new to league racing, wasn't he? And I tell you what, he is his pace has really improved dramatically, hasn't it, over the over the races that he's been a part of. Of course, made his debut, I think, back in Monaco, and so one of the toughest races to make your debut on. And I think that Canada is really where it really started to show, didn't it? And then since then he has kicked on nicely. Here comes Roscoe, who's gone 5th fastest on the medium tyre. Roscoe has a good time there from the Scotsman. As just taking a look then as a Stringy there is, I think Exile's just coming across the line now. He's invalidated his time. No, he hasn't invalidated his time. He's just done 2 minutes. Oh, look at this. Great shot here indeed then from the rear wing. Stringy there is out on track at the moment. He is, I think, cruising at the moment. Jonathan Cox, I speak with Fisher regularly and nothing but respect for him. Great racer. Absolutely echo that as well. Of course, me and Fisher used to be commentating buddies, didn't we? I think it was on Tuesday nights, wasn't it? Before, unfortunately, real life intervened. No, I actually had to go to work, unfortunately. But yeah, so of course, Fisher, a good. He's definitely a great racer, and and he's also a humble man as well. So you can't have, that's unusual to have both, isn't it, in a competitive driver? As you can see, here comes Stringy then, of course, also good friends of Fisher as well. He is just on an outlap moment. Look at these, lovely shot here at the curve. Oh, nicely done. Twang has just said he's hit the wall. Luckily not to get any damage there, so Twang there just tapping the wall just to see how strong the car is. He might have forgotten, as he hasn't been racing for quite a while, has he, Twang hasn't? I think his last race in ALR, let me just have a quick look, because he is right the way down, was back actually in Spain. So of course, yeah, Spain, that was quite a long time ago. That's almost 10 races ago, isn't it? We last seen the Twang racing. And very yeah, it's very long time ago, isn't it, for trying, but to be right back up here and in third position is a good effort indeed, isn't it? And he's in front of his teammate at the moment as well, albeit they are on different compound of tyres. Here comes Exile. I must admit, Exile has been a very consistent performer all the way through this season. I think he's really impressed. He is definitely a majority of the reason why Toro Rosso are leading the constructors at the moment, because his pace consistently has been fantastic. Emerson then is just on a lap at the moment, as is Stringy as well. Stringy has invalidated his lap, so he's going to have to go again. And I think he's also given up on this one as well. And now then is coming down the back straight then of Emerson is on the half. He is on the medium tyre then. So the only man on the hard tyres at the moment is new F1. Of course, that's usually Granty's speciality, isn't it, of driving out on the hard tyres. But of course, he is missing today, unfortunately. So we've just got Twang to say, don't trust the times, trust the compound. And definitely did, because there's 2-step difference, isn't it, between new F1 and Twang, but that doesn't really matter as long as you get through. I suppose it does matter in a way, doesn't it? But I think at the moment now, I think Twang will be very happy to return and doing a very good job, isn't he? I got to give a shout out to Gamer as well. He's had a fantastic start to his ALR career, really has. Brilliant stuff indeed from the Belgian driver in the Alfa Romeo, of course, taking over from Mr. Elite, as Mr. Elite is not here this weekend, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll see Mr. Elite back in a couple of weeks' time, of course, as that is the next time we resume ALR. As I keep saying, there's a 2-week break, so hopefully I just should see if anyone actually listens. Talking of listening, Emerson has just gone into a 36.7, so he's definitely making the drivers listen, isn't he? As he is now starting to really home in on the front two at the moment. Now Stringy is back in the pits then. Laggy there is just on and out at the moment, as is Gunnar as well then. So at the moment then, it's just on board there with Gunnar. Gunnar has got a very good qualifying record against his various teammates. He's had a lot of teammates this season, hasn't he, Gunnar has? Of course, he's out-qualified his teammates 4 times this season, and I think his best result back in Italy really was impressive, wasn't it, as well? And of course, he is the most experienced driver in ALR with 27 race starts now. He's been here almost every race since, of course, he missed the first race in Australia in season 1. But then and I think he's been here for every single race, apart from he missed one a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? I think I can't remember if it was Belgium or the one before then. But yeah, so Gunnar then has been ever present, hasn't he? He's a very good ambassador for ALR. The Irishman is coming down to turn 7 now then, and you can see then. They can't run too wide out there, because of course you'll get a lap invalidated, and there's all sorts of rubbish out there anyway. You don't want to run out too wide, do you? Murphy's on lap as well at the moment. He is in the second section, just coming over the Anderson Bridge. Then this time it's a lot more steady, isn't it? He's damaged on his first 2 attempts. He has damaged the car, didn't he? Murphy is at the moment in the drop zone. We have Steve, believe it or not. We also have Murphy, Stringy and Gunnar, very big names that is in the drop zone. Sam is currently sneaking through on a 38.4 at the moment. So yeah, Sam is currently in the box seats, but remember there's still 3 minutes to go. There's a lot of track evolution, and also there's a lot of everything that will be going on. And now then as they come through then into the chicane then, accelerating away then coming into turn at 22 and at 23, and he flies through. And Twang is retired from the session, so Twang is happy at that time, and Murphy has done a 36.9 at the moment in the Ferrari. So good time there for Murphy. He's just dropped Sam and Steve out at the moment, and it's Stringy's out there once again. What about Gunnar then coming across the line? He's drifting that car, isn't he? And he's gone 13 fast at the moment on a 38.9 currently then for Gunnar, and he's got 3 minutes to go. Is he going to yeah, I don't think he's going to have time to come back in the pits. He might have to do a lot of harvesting and have another crack, isn't he? So Gunnar is definitely in the danger zone at the moment. Laggy, I think, is out on track at the moment. He's a 10th of a second down, and Murphy is, of course, cruising right in the pits. So we've got both Ferraris out there. So then, I think the Twang thinks he's safe. Who isn't safe then? I would say that UF1's not going to be safe. He is out of the pits now. Exile certainly won't be safe either. So those guys are out. Maybe Roscoe. Ooh. I think 37 and below. I'm just saying, let's see where we've got a yellow flag then. And Laggy is back in the pits with 2 minutes to go. And you can see it's a very difficult pit lane again. You can see you've got to slow down then to, I think it's 60 kilometers an hour here, isn't it? Of course, it's 60 kilometers an hour on all street circuits. Laggy then is 8 tenths of a second up, wasn't he, when he was in the pits there? UF1 is out on track at the moment, and we've got Gunnar, who is 5 seconds down the moment. So there's a bit of a lull in this part of the session then. Before we get going again then. So Jonathan Cox is currently fast at the moment. I think that Jonathan and Fisher should be safe. Emerson and Murphy are probably safe as well. Is anyone in the 37 safe? I'd say Gamer and Laggy are safe, but I'm not sure about Roscoe. Well, Roscoe thinks he's safe. Well, we'll find out soon, won't we? UF1 is just about to start us up now. XR is also about to start us up. We've got quite a few cars out there then. So here comes UF1. Of course, he was on pole, wasn't he, last time out in Italy? Can he get 2 pole positions in 2 races then for UF1 as he's coming down into turn 1 then in the Renault car 23 then, and now into turn 3. Of course, we had a big old smash there, didn't we, in 2017, and he's going over the curb there. Yellow flag and 3. Is that going to invalidate his time? Nope, he's carrying on. I must admit, it's very difficult to. There are a couple of corners where you can definitely invalidate your time, isn't there? So even though it's a street circuit, it's a bit like Canada, isn't it? It's still quite easy to invalidate your time. So you do not want to you don't want to push your luck too much then on the on this track then. And now coming into turn 8 then, I think a Schumacher mounted the back of Jean-Eric Verne, of course, the double world champion for Formula E now. Of course, Formula E is starting up soon on the 22nd and 23rd of November. Looking forward to that. Even though if it's I'm not sure, is it field purists of motor racing fans? I don't know, it's cars, isn't it? And they've got 4 wheels and they go and they and they race. So I think that's my criteria. That's all I need really. And UF1 then comes out of the Anderson Bridge and now he's on Raffles Boulevard. Of course, we had a spectator who was randomly walking down there back in 2015, which was interesting. I think I don't really know the story behind that. I think he was just trying to get from one part to the other, wasn't he? It wasn't a protest or anything, I don't think. Not like the one in Germany back in 2000. Well, as Gunnar has retired from the session, so that's a shame for Gunnar then. So he'll be 13th. Stringy has just thrown himself up in the 6th, and that should keep him. That should get him through. UF1 then coming into the final couple of corners now, accelerating away. And what is he going to do then? Here he comes then into turn 22 and 23. Then UF1 then he's on the medium to compound tires, and he goes 6 fastest ever for the Renault driver. Good stuff indeed then. Who in Roscoe is on the bubble. CEO is on the bubble as well. Sam is out of qualifying unfortunately. So Steve's done, I think. So Steve is done. So it's between the 2 Toro Rossos. Who is going to get through at the moment? XR is 3/10 of a second up. That is just about, that's barely enough, I think. So XR needs that absolutely monster of a second sector here. He is coming now down into the Singapore Sling, which is not the Singapore Sling anymore. Of course, we had cars launch over there, didn't we? We had Raikkonen launch over there in 2008. We had Kobayashi go over there quite heavily in 2011 in the Sauber. And that was in qualifying, wasn't it? Unfortunately, they got rid of that. I'm really upset they got rid of that. I think now XR comes out of the Anderson Bridge and down the Raffles Boulevard. Then Roscoe is out of qualifying because I think someone has just who is that? I think Steve has actually gone through. So there's me. I'm in my own little war tonight, aren't I? So Steve is through then. So Steve is through number 5th position. I thought he was on an outlap then. So good stuff from Steve. He makes it through in the Q3. Fantastic stuff indeed then. So it's between Laggy and XR. Who is going to be the final man into Q3? Laggy, he's aiming for 37.7 for XR. He was 5/10 of a second up in the second sector. Is that going to be enough? It's going to be close. It's going to be touch and go then. Here he comes down around the final corner now. 22 and then into 23. And what does he do? He's not through. So he's out of qualifying. And what Twine just said, there's a Godzilla on the track. I think he was referencing Verstappen, wasn't he, in 2017? So 2016, 2017. Excuse me. Look at the time at the top there, that's incredible stuff. But we're going to focus on the bottom four, unfortunately. So Gunnar's out qualifying, he was 14th in the end, 13th for Sam, 12th and 11th for Exo and Roscoe. So that's an all Toro Rosso in on row 6 then. So making it to the guys in the top 10, Laggy, Gamer on his debut, fantastic stuff. Stringy, New F1, Murphy, Steve, Emerson, Twang, Fisher and Jonathan all through. And look at that, 600 to a second separates those guys. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed then. Really good stuff. Fireshot said let's go Laggy. So of course Fireshot was using the Haas. Unfortunately made a very late call that he will not be racing tonight. UF1 boy, and Laggy just made it by the sweat of his brow. So now we're into Q3 then, so this is where it's going to get really fast and furious. Vin Diesel is going to have nothing on this, and we are ready to get going in just a few moments time. And as we got a bit of a lull, we're waiting for the session to sort itself out, which it hasn't. Thank goodness for that. We are going. Is Jonathan Cox first one up? He is indeed. Of course, he's the sole Pink Panther tonight. As so Jonathan Cox is the sole Pink Panther. So he is going to be. So he's out there straight away. Fisher is out there as well. So is Stringy. We have got a queue of cars. Here comes Gamer and his debut into Q3 already. Fantastic effort there for Gamer. And I love his helmet as well. That's a cracking old helmet, isn't it? Oh, that's a brilliant helmet that is. Oh. Yes, I think if we have a best helmet award, I think that Gamer might be in there straight away. Brilliant stuff as well. Talking of good helmets, here comes Jonathan Cox then, who of course he had a special tribute helmet for the Italian Grand Prix all last week, and now then there's it was really unfortunate in Italy, wasn't it? That he didn't get any points when he did a great job of coming up into 4th position, I think it was, and the Fireshot was given 10 out of 10 for the commentator. I had to read that one. So it's Jonathan Cox coming down the back straight now, and he is now into the he's just on an outlaw at the moment, so everyone is out of the pits at the moment apart from Laggy at the moment. So I wonder if Laggy has used up all his tyres. Then of course you get a free set of boots, don't you, in this final stage of qualifying. But yeah, Laggy there, that's the name. So Laggy is not out yet. Maybe he's not in a rush. Maybe he's just maybe he's going to be a one and done lap player for Laggy in the Ferrari. It's great to see both Ferraris in the top 10 again. So I think really just like, I think the Ferrari team have got a very strong team, haven't they? And Laggy is really started to improve leaps and bounds, hasn't he? And I think I tell you what, I think 2 other times his race in Abu Dhabi on Friday was really incredible, wasn't it? How he kept his head was impressive stuff indeed. As Jonathan then, of course, this man who's had 2 wins in ALR, of course he went head to head and beat Nigel in his in only his 3rd race in ALR. Fantastic race it was indeed in Japan. And of course he also won in Hungary, a very dominant performance as well in Hungary, wasn't it, for the Racing Point driver, which really threw himself back in the title hunt in the second half of the season. He has been absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately in Italy it didn't go his way, but he can put that behind him. Oh, he's hit the wall there, but don't worry, that was head on, he should be alright. He's now can put that behind him and really now start to kick on, can he? So of course, as we said, he's 43 points behind the moment. Far is out of qualifying. He could potentially get up to 3rd by the end of tonight in the championship. But I don't think Jonathan will be wanting to think about 3rd. He will want to be thinking about 1st, only in Emerson. Of course, Emerson is the championship leader at the moment. He just, I think his aim for tonight is definitely just to have a good race, extend the lead in the drivers' championship. With Grant not here, but of course Jonathan would definitely love to really spoil his party, won't he? Now as they come over the Anson Bridge, then look at that full lock then, accelerating away down nicely, shifting up the gears then into up to 6 gears. Look how the acceleration on these cars are incredible, aren't they? There's a lot of bad publicity about these hybrid engines, but I must admit they do take off, don't they, like a scalded cat. It's very very quick indeed. And now we're into the coming into the spectators' grandstand, I think it is. Yes, it is. Laggy race is still in the pits at the moment. Yellow flag in 2. That's not a good sign. Just taking a look to see who it is, and I think it's Fisher who's had a problem. That's a big shame for Fisher there. He needs to get a good qualifying performance in, and Jonathan is invalidated. Thomas got to go through again. What about Gamer then? Gamer coming through then in his first debut, and he's fastest at the moment on the 37-1 there for the Belgian driver. He's doing a fantastic debut for Gamer. Really is. He is definitely one driver to watch, isn't he? Car 61. Emerson has gone fastest on a 36.2 at the moment now for Emerson. Of course, love the golden helmet there. Definitely, Emerson is really, since he's come in, he has been the golden boy, hasn't he? He's really performed so well, hasn't he? 4 wins of his career. He's only 2 wins behind the all-time record holder, which is Nigel. Of course, he is the first ever winner, first ever champion of ALR, the Dutchman. So yeah, definitely. Emerson's got some big shoes to fill, but yeah, 4 wins already. Incredible start on board with Murphy. Then he comes across the line now, and he's done a 36.4. He's only 2 seconds off. Here comes the Renault driver, Twang, I think it is. He's just starting his time now. UF1 there is in the final sector. Then in the Renault. So Renault have got an all-new driver line, haven't they? Renault seem to attract the best drivers, don't they? Because they had Wishbone, didn't they, in Granty at one point, which is a phenomenal lineup. Now they got new F1 and Granty, and tonight they got Granty and Twang. Brilliant stuff. New F1's gone 4 fastest amount on a 37. Gamer is 5th at the moment. Fisher has made a mistake and he's going to have to wait. What about Jonathan? Jonathan is just come back in the pits then. So we've lost. So Stringy and Fisher and Laggy all haven't set a time at the moment. I don't think Jonathan is going to either, so he'll be back in the pits in just a few moments as well. So what can Twang do then? So at the moment it's a 2:10 for a second gap. Remember, Emerson hasn't got a pole position yet in his ALR career. This could be his first pole position today. Remember, Murphy's already got 3 pole positions already. I think that's also 3 in his career as well for Murphy. We got Steve in 4th position. MUF1 has had a pole position last time out on his debut. Gamer, of course, making his debut tonight. Fisher and Stringy hasn't had pole positions either. I don't think Twang has ever had a pole position, has he? I don't think he has. He will tell me if he does. I don't think he has. Well, he certainly hasn't this season. I don't think he has in his career either. Jonathan, then I think Jonathan has, as I was saying, he hasn't had. I don't think he's had any pole position in ALR, which is an incredible stat. And of course, Laggy Racer, I don't think he's had a pole position either. So at the moment, then we've only got 2 guys in the top 10 that's had a pole position so far this season. That's basically the point I was trying to make after all that mumbling. As the Twang goes onto a 37.2 at the moment in the Renault, so he is only a 10th off Gamer at the moment. Then so Twang there into Q3 on his return then. So, now we're just having a bit of a lull. Steve's coming into the pits. Look how tight that pit entry is. I reckon we're going to have some spicy action in there, definitely. And you can see there's a bit of a crest, isn't it, coming in there. So that might help slow the cars down. Murphy, of course, 3-time pole sitter, is in the Ferrari at the moment. I tell you what, he finished 5th in the season last season, didn't he, Murphy did, in ALR. But I think this season he is definitely up to his game. On this game as well, I think the car should suit him, perhaps. Or that might be a disservice to him. I think definitely more I would say that he has actually just improved more as a driver, really, and he has just really kicked on, hasn't he? So because Dan Murphy's a part of several leagues now, isn't he? He's just getting quicker and quicker, isn't he? So he's really starting to hone his craft. I think this season, if there's going to have to be all sorts that goes on to get himself in the championship hunt this season, but I think in season 3, which kicks off on January the 15th, I think, next season of ALR, I would actually throw Murphy in as being one of the favourites, definitely to contend for the crown. So really looking forward to season 3, but of course when I say looking forward to season 3, we've got to be more interested about season 2, haven't we? I reckon this season's going to go down to the wire, isn't it? It's been yo-yoing up and down, and of course there's a 13-point gap between Emerson and Granty. That's not going to come down tonight because Granty is not here, but Emerson can potentially extend it. But it's yo-yoing around, isn't it? I think because Emerson has started off so well, didn't he? And then I think his performance has started to plateau. And he had a very good drive in Belgium, didn't he? He kept to his own strategy and really did a good job on that day. Like I was cut the corner there. It doesn't matter on the outlap, does it? So now he's going to get ready to go now. Let's go on board with the Belgian driver. We've got 2 Belgians in the field. It's great to see. It's great to have them along with us as well. Of course, they're part. Of course, their country has the best racetrack in the world. And I think they have the best chocolate as well, don't they? Anyway, now they're coming down into turn 3, then you can see then. Look at that, a lot of lock there from the Ferrari driver. You can see he was just sliding to the wall then, wasn't he? And getting very perilously close then, taking a wide berth then into turn 5 then, and look at that. That was absolutely expertly judged then. DRS, there's 2 DRS zones around here, I believe. and now they're coming down into turn 7. And as I said, the infamous turn 7, where we've had all sorts of collisions there, haven't we? And of course, Schumacher and Verne there had a bit of smash. I think Schumacher had a smash with someone else there as well, didn't he? No, Triangle said someone was sat at the corner exit, ghosted through, but lifted off to try and get through. So Twang then come up against some traffic at the moment, so he has still got a couple of tenths in that car, hasn't he? At the moment, and so as we just enjoyed, this is a good old lap from Laggy, isn't it? I'm really enjoying this lap as well. And you can see that's a very difficult corner, isn't it? It's a very frustrating corner, isn't it? And I think Massa had one of the best overtakes of the century, didn't he? Between Bruno Senna, was it really an overtake or trying to avoid? I think it was more trying to avoid an accident, but yeah, and as I got distracted there by all the conversation going on. That's why I do go in the chat, because I can't do two things at once. I can't read and I can't talk. So yeah, that's why I'm not a politician. And also because I would actually say that I kind of tell the truth a lot of the time. Anyway, going through then to complete the lap now is Laggy. He flies into the final corner, and Laggy goes into third position. That's a fantastic lap. We thought it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Brilliant lap there from Laggy. An even better lap from Jonathan, who's done a 35.9 there. This could be his first ever pole position in ALR. As we said earlier, I was surprised that he doesn't have a pole position. He has 2 wins. Can he get a pole position as well to under his belt then? So Laggy Racer, I tell you what, he is definitely a man on the mission. This game can be so much about form, can it? And I think Laggy is one man who's on form indeed. As we've also just seen, William there just said, wow, what a lap from Laggy. It was a good lap from Laggy. I think, as we were stating earlier, Laggy has had some phenomenal racing, hasn't he? Abu Dhabi on Fridays, we keep mentioning, I think it's the drive of the century. It was an absolutely incredible drive, wasn't it? Laggy's race in Abu Dhabi on Friday. I think that I must admit I was a bit biased when I was in the commentary box on Friday, which, to be honest, you shouldn't be biased at all, should you, as a commentator? 100 for a second of gamers at the moment, and he's just gone wide in turn 7. But I must admit though, it was a great moment, wasn't it? And I would have loved it personally. And I think there's a lot of rain going on outside at the moment, but luckily nothing in here, and luckily nothing on track either. Then Gamer flying through. And now coming into the Anderson Bridge, and of course they've also modified that bit of track as well. It was a bit more opened up, wasn't it? They've tightened it up, haven't they, slightly, to improve overtaking apparently. Oh, and Laggy there, the back end there, just stepping out there slightly, and now he's coming down Raffles Boulevard and into he's 10th of a second up there. 10th of a second up there, we've got a yellow flagging through. I'm hoping this someone is just slowing down and just trying to get himself sorted out. Just taking a look, it is someone who's trying to get himself sorted out. Excellent stuff. Anyway, Gamer then is coming into, of course, that infamous turn 17 where PK crashed it intentionally. Ironically, Grosjean crashed it intentionally as well. Well, not intentionally. Ironically, Grosjean crashed in the exact same place, didn't he? As a Gamer there is ran out of Jonathan's coming in the pit, so he's one and done. Is Gamer going to throw his hat in the ring? He's 5th fast at the moment, so Laggy is finished, so is Gamer as well. So 4th and 5th then for the Belgian drivers. Great stuff indeed. Steve is on a 10th for second lap at the moment. We've got Twang out there as well. Fisher is just about to complete his lap. Jonathan's in the pit, so he can't defend his pole position mode. This could be his first pole position of the C's career. No, then it could be Fisher's pole position of his career. Brilliant stuff there from Fisher. He is on pole position. That's a 35.4 there from Fisher. Incredible lap. Of course, he does enjoy this track, doesn't he? Stringy comes across the line. He's gone 5th fastest. This place is Laggy. He's dropped down to 6th. Then Murphy is he's 600s down, and Emerson is following Murphy quite closely. New F1 has gained almost a second in the second sector. That is going to throw him right in the mix, isn't it? And now then there's a new F1 then coming into the final couple of corners now. Here is 22 and 23 for the Renault driver. He swoops in. Where does he go? He's going to improve. Up in the second. He's on the front row of the grid then. So he wasn't able to get pole position today, but he's on the front row of the grid. Murphy then and Emerson are coming into the final couple of corners now then. Can Murphy get his 4th pole position of his career? Can Emerson get his first pole position of his career? At the moment it's between them. At the moment we've got Fisher and Emerson who haven't had pole position. Murphy's had 3 so far. He's the king of poles this season. He comes across the line and he finishes 5th in the end, but Emerson comes across the line and he's 2nd in the end. Wow, good lap there from Emerson. Well, what a good end to qualifying that was. Really enjoyed that. Very fantastic. It was an incredible end to qualifying, wasn't it? Fisher gets his first pole position of his ALR career. Fantastic effort from Fisher. Really was, because it has been threatening. He has been threatening that, hasn't he, for quite a long time, because he's got 3 fastest laps of his career. 2 tenths of a second separates himself and Emerson, who was on the front row. New F1 is third with Jonathan Cox in 4th. Twang on his return 5th position. Murphy 6th. D in 7th with Stringy 8th, and then Laggy and Gamer 9th and 10th. And that is your top 10 for the Singapore Grand Prix. And Fisher, as he said, is favourite track as well. It was a cracking lap for Fisher. His first pole position of ALR, and I reckon one of many then. As one of many then. It's a great lap there. Can he get it off the start, and can he keep out of trouble? Because Fisher has had a couple of issues on the opening laps where he seems to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. I think I was saying back in Monza, it was kind of like a Sebastian Vettel kind of problem, wasn't it, back in 2008, where he just seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, where he was just involved in accidents, well, other people's accidents, wasn't he? So hopefully Fisher can get a good start. And of course Jonathan has just said congratulations to Fisher as well. So fantastic stuff indeed. You can see the pit lane is empty at the moment, which is a good sign, because all the drivers on track, there's a lot of front noses there outside the gantries, outside the garages, because well, I think that there's going to be a lot of front noses, isn't there? It's going to be required in this race. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm wrong, but it's going to be very difficult as well. And Farfus just says starting from the back again. Starting from the back, great. But remember, Farf is I think Farf is really good at starting from the back, isn't he? He seems to thrive on it, doesn't he? And hopefully can Farf get himself in the mix. And of course he needs to get back on form, doesn't he? Farf does, if he wants to continue on challenging for the championship as it stands at the moment. So, as the drivers are just getting themselves sorted out, getting themselves ready to go, we got a formation lap first, so this gives us a good opportunity to go through 17 cars, and this is going around this incredible Singapore Grand Prix circuit. Well, street circuit I should have said. And look at that, we've got a lot of yellow, we've got a lot of white, and we've got a couple of red there as well. So then on the red striped tyres and the soft tyres is Twang, Steve, Laggy and Gamer, and also we've got Gooner as well. He's good attacking from the start, isn't he? Hard tyres for Exile, for Sam, for Nigel, for BFD, and also for Farf as well. And then we got to the medium compound tyres for the rest of the drivers. Let's go through the grid then. Pole position, his first pole position of his career for Fisher in ALR. Fantastic drive, a fantastic pole position now. Emerson still hasn't got a pole position yet to his name, but he does have 4 race wins, doesn't he? He's alongside him on row 1. Row 2 is a new F1. He got pole position last time out in Monza. He is 3rd today. Jonathan Cox is 4th. He can do a lot of damage from 4th, can he? 5th position is Twang on his return. Great stuff from Twang, with Murphy in 6th position. Don't count Murphy out either. C in 7th position, with 8th position is Stringy, Laggy and Gamer 9th and 10th, and all Belgian 5th row grid. Of course, Gamer making his debut today, so good stuff from Gamer in the Alfa Romeo. Brilliant stuff indeed. Then we've got an All Toro Rosso 6th row, with Exile in 11th position, with Roscoe in 12th. Sam is in 13th position in the Mercedes. 14th position is Gooner in the McLaren. Remember, he started near the back. I think he started 16th or 17th in Monza, didn't he? He came through to finish an incredible 6th, I think, or 5th. Nigel, of course, he won this race this time last year. He's going to have a lot to do from 15th on the grid, Nigel is. Then we have BFD in a 16th position, and he's making his debut as well. Didn't go right for him in qualifying, but what about the race? That's where he scored points. And Farf is in 18th position. We've got 31 laps around here. This is going to be an awfully long race. I hope you're all dehydrated. I hope you're all comfortable, because this is going to be the longest race of the season, even if we don't have any safety cars, because this race will be nudging on an hour in length, and so I think it'll be just about longer than qualifying, which is the only time I think it'll happen in this race in this season. So then we are about to get ready to get going then here in Singapore then. I tell you what, a great lap from Fisher. 31 laps around here. Whoever wins this is going to deserve it. Of course, Monaco used to be classed as half a championship if you win there. And of course, we remember Nigel winning there earlier on this season. And well, this is going to be just as difficult, maybe even more difficult. As let me just quickly get the old position changes up. Then you see in the last driver there, it was Twang. He wasn't too concerned about the formation levels. Look at those. Look how tight those cars are as we're lining up then. Remember for the grid then. Ron Boyer Farfen as he is looking at the back then. Now we got 2 lights, we got 3 lights, we got 4 lights, and 5 lights. We'll be going in Singapore, and it is go now, and it is go, and it's a good start there from Emerson. I think it's a great start from Emerson, isn't it? And Fisher still takes the lead. Emerson is trying to go on the inside, but nothing doing there. You can see very cautious at the back there from BFD, and we've got a couple of cars dropping down. Then as Roscoe and Nigel going side by side out of turn one. Then and also we've got Gamer and Stringy's dropped down to 9th position. Then and we've got Laggy who's all over the back of Murphy as well. Then as they come through, then down the straight. I think it is a straight, isn't it? Well, it's not. It's a straight with a kink in the middle. And it's all very well behaved. UF1 has dropped down to 4th position. Stringy has got Pie Gamer and up into 3rd position. We've got a yellow flag in 2 because Sam is off. Sam is right off the track. A severe collision with Laggy, and Sam is out of the race. There's a damage, I think, and Laggy's had problems as well. I think he's gone to the back of Laggy, and Sam is out of the race. And it was a severe collision. That is a big old blow there for Sam. He's out of the race already on this opening couple of corners. Then has Laggy got any damage? He hasn't, so he's a lucky boy at the moment. Then so we're coming through then to complete. Then well, we only come through because this is a longer lap. Then so we've got awful long way to go. Then Fisher leads. 2nd position is Emerson. Jonathan Cox is up into 3rd position. Good stuff from Jonathan. 4th position is UF1. Twang in 5th. 6th position. Yellow flag in 2. What's going on in 2? Just taking a look, and that's why it's a BFD who's had a problem coming out the Anderson Bridge. Then and now we've got Laggy there who's on the inside of He's on the inside, but Roscoe's having a look, and Roscoe's dropped down 3 positions. He's had an appalling start, Roscoe has. Up 6 positions there, a good start from Farfair. He's up to 9th position. Brilliant stuff indeed. As Sam has left the session, unfortunately, and so Sam is the first man to retire from the Singapore Grand Prix. He won't be the last, not by a long shot, as they come through. If we've got any guys with damage at the moment, Fisher says fast up the race, then of course as he's the opening man, then they fly through. Murphy there is getting very interested, isn't he, in the studio in the battle for 6th and 7th. We've got Stringy in 8th position. 9th position is Gamer. Exile is 10th. We've got Farf in 11th position, and that is Stringy going right off the track there. And now Murphy's all over the back of the Steel like a rash. And remember, they're on different types of compound as well. Then if we take a look at the tires on the tower, on the left hand side tower, then Murphy's on the medium tires, Steel's on the soft tires. It's the soft tires very, very delicate. It looks like it, don't it? Oh no, Steve going underground there. And now Murphy up the inside track position. No, not quite, because Steve broke a lot later there. Good stuff from Steve. Now Stringy's all over the back of him as well as they come into turn 8 then. We've also got Gamer 9th, Exile 10th. Farf is up to 11th. He's on a fantastic start again. Farf as he lunges on the inside. He is through and up into 10th position. Farf just loves to start from near the back, doesn't he? Because he just seems to have a great time there. Ross. Yeah, that's unfortunately. I think a BFD Ross is out of the race, unfortunately. So on his debut, it didn't go too well for him in the Red Bull there for Ross. That's a shame. As you can see, we've got a bit of a cube form behind Guna now. Is that going to cause a safety car? We don't have a safety car just yet at the moment. And Farfen he's flying through the field, isn't he? And now then we've got Murphy who's a crawler and all over the gearbox, isn't he? A Steo the moment they come over the curbs. And you can see there's no way through here. Fisher's got a 1.6 seconds lead over Emerson at the moment, with Jonathan in 3rd position, 4th is UF1, Twang is 5th, and then we've got a 2-second gap between Twang and Steve, who is a bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment. And then Farf is also stuck behind Gamer at the moment. I think Gamer's doing a good job, isn't he? He's looking a very strong driver, Gamers. And now Murph there is really pushing him through the final couple of corners then. And now he is going to go on the inside. Stringy's through as well. That's a Gamer talking to Gamer. Just like say that, he has an awful smash and he's trying to go. Oh my gosh, it's a big smash between the Belgian drivers, and Gamer is out of the race. Gamer and Laggy are both out, and that is that's a horrible smash there for Gamer. Laggy just drove into the side of him because I think Gamer didn't see him coming up from behind there. And wow, both Belgian drivers are out of the race, down to 13 cars then already. And that, in fact, the safety car, I don't know what it is. Murphy has gone up into 6th position. Session there, he's going to be disappointed with that, and Stringy and Steel there come together there. Stringy now having a bit of issues, and he has dropped down to 10th position as well then. And I think unfortunately Laggy there, which I think Gamer was just pulling out, wasn't he? And he just didn't look to see who was coming up there, and unfortunately Laggy, Roscoe somehow missed it, but unfortunately Laggy didn't, so that's Laggy and Gamer both out. Also out is BFD, and also Sam is out as well. Then we're down to 13 cars after 3 laps, and wow, this is a bit of a destruction derby so far in this race. But we still got a long way to go. This is a long track. This is a long race. So we are expecting some very difficult, it's going to be we are expecting a very difficult race. These drivers are, no doubt about it. Well, Fisher at the moment is having quite a nice race at the moment, isn't he? He's 2 seconds in front, and he is just torn away then. and like you said, I'm going to stop racing in this league and I'm coming back in Abu Dhabi. Well, it's up to you, but if there's not going to be any seats, then unfortunately we can't just get you back in, mate. And to be honest, it's just racing really. Like he's had a bit of an appalling time in terms of the last two races, where of course in Italy he and Roscoe come together, and then today he unfortunately just drove into it was Gamer who just spun it, and then he just drove back onto the track and lagged into the side of him. So yeah, unfortunately I think Gamer probably should have probably looked there, but you know, his tournament is very difficult, isn't it, where you spin. And Farf is now up into 7th position. He is flying through, isn't he? He is flying through and up into 7th position. Brilliant stuff there from Farf then. And now Steve's dropped down to 8th then on those soft tires. Those soft tires are really strong at the moment, aren't they? As Farf is, no, he is flying through the field, isn't he? He's up 10 positions already. I think he just wants driver of the day, doesn't he? Incredible stuff there from Farf at the moment then. Like I said, that he can't be bothered anymore, so that's fair enough. But anyway, then as he is very disgruntled there. To be fair, he did have a good qualifying, didn't he? But he has been involved in 2 races. He has been involved in 2 incidents now, which, to be fair, none of them have been his fault. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's racing, though, isn't it? You are going to be involved in accidents. I mean, look at Hamilton. He was involved in so many issues in 2011. To be fair, I think that he was involved. Him and Massa kept coming together, didn't they? Really, I think that most of those issues was Hamilton's fault, wasn't it? Anyway, we'll get back to anyway. I'm not doing politics. So I've had enough of Brexit and things like that. Let's go on to this then. And as you can see, then we're on board then with Jonathan, who is currently in 3rd position. Moment is Gamer just said he lost control. He's sorry. You know, and Twang got a 10-second penalty there, because Twang has got a 20-second penalty because he's out of the race. Where's he gone? On board then with McLaren. He has gone right off there, Twang has. So Twang is out of the race as well. So that looks like is that a mistake on his own there for Twang? That's a bit of and Steve's in the pits then. So yeah, Twang is off the track and he's out of the race then. This is well, we're down to 11 cars already then in this incredible race. Yeah, Gamer has fully accepted it, and he has said sorry, which yeah, to be fair, yeah, that's racing, isn't it? Really, you can't, yeah, it's very difficult, isn't it? Because Vettel done exactly the same thing, didn't he, back in Monza? So even the best of the best can get it wrong sometimes. Back on board Jonathan, and he is really now starting to home in on Emerson at the moment, isn't he? And Twang has had a steering wheel problem, which is why he's retired. So that's a shame for Twang. Then he came back at a very good, at a very solid qualifying session. Unfortunately, he is now out of the he is now unfortunately out of the race because he had a steering wheel problem, went straight on. Well, as anyway. Oh well, and the comments are just getting yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, then, as Twine just said, it's disappointed. And to be honest, I think it he's had a cracking qualifying session, but unfortunately doesn't. It just didn't go well in the race, but that's all right. I think Twine is very. It's great to have Twine back in the race, wasn't it? It really was, and he really showed he hasn't lost any speed at all. And talking the speed, they've got another yellow flag in 2. What's going on too is Steve's gone off over the Anderson Bridge, and he's gone straight on. But he damaged the car. No, he hasn't. He is still carrying on, and there we go then. So Steve then just carrying on then as Twang has left the session. Very disappointing then on board with Nigel then as he is just gaining on XR as well. We are down to 12 cars down, the 17 that started, and Emerson there is feeling the crunch at the moment from Jonathan, isn't he? As the gap is now 5 tenths of a second. Remember, there is DRS around here. How effective is DRS? So it's a very difficult track, isn't it? 3.4 seconds the gap is between Emerson and Fisher at the moment. So Fisher at the moment is just starting to pull away, isn't he? He's a very good driver when he's at the front. And he's a very good driver at the front then, isn't he? Just on board then with on board Jonathan at the moment. And as you can see, look at Emerson, then championship leader. He is second at the moment. He will extend his championship lead as it stands. He's in front of all his championship rivals. Farfo, did he expect Farf to be up so high so early on after 6 laps? Farf has made it for 11 positions in a matter of 6 laps. It's been incredible, hasn't it? Bit of destruction derby though, hasn't it, with the some of the other drivers? But yeah, I think Farf has done a really good job, hasn't he? And now then as Jonathan there is just it's just keeping on the back of Emerson at the moment. Fisher is still gaining. He's now 2 tenths of a second up on this lap alone. This is incredible stuff. Roscoe has got a penalty there in the in the Toro Rosso. And Nathan Hughes just said, "Go on, Team Emerson." Whoop whoop. He is doing a good job, Emerson, at the moment, but he is not. I think Fisher is pulling away, but Fisher is not a part of the championship battle. I don't think at this stage, unless again, as I was saying with Murphy, and Favre's got a 3-second penalty there. As I was saying earlier on with Murphy, I don't think Murphy is currently in the championship battle either realistically, but anything can happen, can it, this season? I think that Jonathan, at the halfway stage of this season, I don't think Jonathan was realistically in the battle, but he is really honed. He's really like definitely he's really put himself back into the hunt, hasn't he, in the last couple of races. Gunnar is in the pits end, so Gunnar comes into the pits end in the McLaren end. So this is a very good day for points here, isn't it? As the likes of Exile and the likes of Roscoe and Stio as well. There's so many good drivers out there, isn't it? So really, a lot of these drivers are very high scoring drivers anyway. And now you can see Exile's got a problem, but that's a great move from Nigel. He's on the outside, he has gone through, he is up to 8th position, and he goes through. Bit of lag going on there, but he's gone through and passed Exile and moved up into 8th position. Good manoeuvre there from Exile then, and he is from Nigel, and he is now up to 8th position in the Season 1 World Champion. Good stuff there from Nigel, absolutely cracking stuff indeed then. So let's see what his pace will be later on then. Now, yeah, let's see what his pace can be. He's on the hard tire. He's going very deep into this race. But in terms of strategy then, no one is on the softs anymore. They've got rid of those soft tires. They're not really a good race tire by the looks, are they? So we're on the medium tires and the hard tires. Now, the hard tires, how long is this going to be a 1-stopper or a 2-stopper? That's the question is going to be, isn't it? I think it's all up in the air at the moment. I don't think many of these drivers have actually done a race around Singapore, have they? As now they come through then and completing lap 7 then. We're on lap 8 then. 4.5 seconds. Fisher is now in the lead. Fisher is absolutely incredible around this track at the moment. He really is, isn't he? He's doing a phenomenal job in the Mercedes. I don't think Mercedes has won a race yet this season, have they? No, this is going to be this is definitely an impressive performance there. Stringy is in the pits then. So Stringy comes into the pits as he damages front wing just on board the McLaren. Now that looks like I can't see end plates on there, so that doesn't look good. No, he hasn't. I'm just, yep, that's just me not knowing what I'm doing. And not knowing what I'm doing. I'm definitely not, because Jonathan has gone on the inside there of Emerson then. And I almost missed this battle there whilst I was watching Stringy come in the pits. He's coming out now. He's on the hard tyre. He should get out in front of Stio. He should be out in front of Stee. And Stee then is still in at 10th position there. I think that mistake back at Anderson, at the Anderson bridge there, really cost Stee to get out in front of Stringy then. So Stringy's now 20 seconds back, but he has made a stop and he should be going on further. As Gamer's asked if we can leave the session. Yeah, you can leave the session, Gamer. It's been good to have you with us here today, and I tell you what, you've done a cracking job in the qualifying session. Very good pace indeed. So it was great to have Gamer along, and it was also great to have BFD along as well. So really good stuff from both those new drivers there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Also good stuff there from Twang as well, who made his return. So in the Renault drivers, so brilliant stuff from all those guys then. As Laggy's just said, he loves to sleep but he has no luck. Well, to be honest, I must admit that's like me in life at the moment. Really, it's so difficult, isn't it? It's like it's really difficult, isn't it, to get yourself. It's when you're on a slippery slope. It's very difficult to get yourself back into the groove, isn't it? Fisher at the moment is now 5.7 seconds. Remember, Fisher's had a very difficult start to his ALR career. From when he's in SNRS, he is an absolute machine. Fisher is, but in this league so far, he's really struggled, hasn't he? Fisher has, but I tell you what, he is really showing some performance today, and that's a good example. Actually, Fisher is. He's been involved in some instances, haven't been his fault. He's had an awful lot of bad luck, but here today, he's really turned it around, hasn't he? And he's doing a phenomenal job out there at the moment. He is doing an absolute phenomenal job. Jonathan going very wide there. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. New F1 is just shadowing these two at the moment, as the battle for second and third. As we're just we are only on lap 9. This is as I said, this is going to be a very long old race indeed. Then lovely shot from this is just in front of the rear wheel of Jonathan Cox in the racing point. And you can see them very close to the back end of Emerson. Well, of course, Emerson, the championship leader by 13 points. He is 43 points in front of Jonathan. So even if Jonathan does get by, that's only a 3-point deficit. So it'll only come down to 40 points. But of course, Emerson is not like that. I think that he doesn't. Is he thinking about the championship? I don't think he is. I think he's more thinking about this race, isn't he, and getting the best result he can for the Haas team. Of course, Haas are not very high up in the constructors at the moment, are they? And I think he'd be desperate to get some good points for them as well. But it would also be, I think he'd be more desperate though to get more points in front of Granty as well, because Granty is not here at the moment, but he will extend his lead by 18 points as it stands at the moment. But he's going to have this race is far from over. This is going to be a long slog. This is more of a marathon. This is the this is the closest we're going to get to an endurance race tonight. So as I said, I hope you got I've put plenty of water here tonight, because this is going to be an absolutely difficult race. Farf is up into 5th position because Murphy is in the pits then for the Ferrari team, and he is in 6th position at the moment. He's on a quite old race, Murphy is at the, currently. Nigel's coming across the line because he's on the hard tire as well. So the guys that are on the hard tire are now starting to. Farf's got a 3-second penalty. That's another 3-second penalty for Farf. He's driving very quickly indeed, and Exar's in the pits and he is on the hard tire, so I think he's damaged his front wing. We did notice it earlier on, Exar, so he's in the pits now. And Gross just said it's an early stop. It is a very early stop indeed, isn't it? It's really interesting, this race is at the moment. Now it's going to be a lot of damage from wings. We did say there's going to be a lot of wing replacements. Gunnar coming across the line, and is he going to get in front of XR? He does indeed. So we've got both Toro Rossos to construct are 11th and 12th at the moment. So yeah, it's not going well for the constructors at the moment. Jonathan Cox is now all over the back of Emerson at the moment, currently. So this is getting very, very tasty indeed. We're on lap 10 out of 31. We ain't even at half distance yet, and some drivers have already come to the pits and fitted the hard tires. Murphy is one of them. Is he going to get to the end from that stage? Oh, it's going to be very difficult, isn't it? Very difficult indeed. UF1 is now starting to get interested in this battle as well. There's only 12 cars left. Well done to these guys that keep going now, because it's very difficult as well. And I thought the Jonathan was going a bit wide there, but luckily it was just a bit of a gaming error. As oh, you can see, look at this, they're getting very slow indeed. 7 seconds the gap is between the Fisher and Emerson at the moment. This is an incredible moment. Jonathan there getting a 3-second penalty for cutting the corner. And now a new F1 is now starting to really home in on Jonathan. Jonathan's had a bit of a scruffy lap there on that last lap, and so he needs to well, he just needs to calm it down and get himself back in it. And as Gross just said, the fact XR has put on 20 mediums, they must do 20 laps. I thought, even though I thought it would be medium soft or vice versa. So yeah, definitely. Always as new F1 is going under the track there. I'm going to be honest. I am absolutely this in terms of this strategy calls around here. I'm absolutely I'm really in awe, because it's really going to be interesting to see what they do, isn't it? Because I don't actually know. And as Gamer just said, hopefully the next race will be better for me, because this was not a dream debut for me. To be honest, I've got to say, it's like Sam in Monaco. Of course, Sam, the Mercedes driver, he had a very his debut was in Monaco. If you have a debut here in Singapore, it's one of the hardest tracks, isn't it? So really, it's not the best race to have your debut on, is it? So yeah, of course, remember, 2-week break it is for ALR now. So I think that, to be honest, I think for guys like Laggy and Gamer, I think, and for Gamer and Sam and all, it's good to have a cool off period, isn't it? As XR's just moved up into 11th position, and he's on the new medium compound tire then. So you can see then. The ball there, and Emerson, did he go on the wall then? Nope, they're all just jumping up and down. So it's a bit of it felt like it's one of those dirt races, isn't it? Like where you just jump over. Emerson is coming in the pits. So is Emerson and Jonathan are both in the pits. Fisher is staying out, and so is new F1. This is intriguing stuff indeed. We're on lap 12 out of 31. How long is the hard tires going to do? That is the question then. So Emerson is in the pits then for the Haas team. You can see them going into the pits, going to work. He's on the he's on the medium tire. Emerson is. So that is stonewall guaranteed. A 2-stop strategy for Emerson. Jonathan has gone onto the hard tire, and that means he doesn't have to pit again. Nigel has gone up into 4th position. And he is, of course, he's going a long way into the race. Farf is up to 3rd position already. Murphy is just decided to turn up the wick as well. He has set the fast lap of the race. Of course, you get a point for fast lap. Currently, if all these guys will get the point for fast lap, unless you're XR and Roscoe, because they're outside the points as it stands then. So this is very interesting indeed, and Emerson is committing himself to a 2-stop strategy. Jonathan Cox doesn't need to come back in the pits because he's on the hard tyre at the moment. How long are those hard tyres going to last? I think it's going to be a good measuring stick, isn't it, to see what Farf and Nigel are doing at the moment. The gap at the front is 10 seconds in between Fisher and UF1. and Fisher has got such a big gap. Then the undercut around here, I think, can be quite big actually. So he really doesn't have to react too much. But he's 2.3, still pulling away from UF1 at the moment, who is second, of course, making his debut for Renault today. He was driving the. I think he was driving the Williams last week, wasn't he? So he's doing a great job for Renault today on his debut, doing a fantastic job as a full-time driver. Really good stuff indeed. Must be medium to hard, what Grillsy's saying. I think that's what Jonathan is doing. But Emerson is doing the medium, and then he's going to do the hard stint at the end, or is he going to try and get a soft tire in there? The soft tires haven't lasted very long in this race, have they? You remember Steve was struggling on the soft tires after just a couple of laps earlier on. Of course, Steve in 9th position at the moment in the Williams, and yes, this is very interesting stuff. This is definitely a strategical race, isn't it? These guys knew it was going to be a strategical race because it's a long race, and it's also about what you're going to do, isn't it? It's great to have all your comments here today. As Fisher's in and out the pits, and Favre takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff for Favre. It really is. Last on the back of the grid, he has now thrown himself right into contention, hasn't he? Fisher is in second. Third position is Nigel, and fourth position is Emerson. Look how much Emerson is closed up to the back of Nigel. There is a bit of debris there on the track. I hope it wasn't for anyone. I thought that was old debris. And Laggy is reporting Sam, by the way, and I think that was for the big accident coming down here as well, isn't it? Now as Emerson comes out from out the outside, he takes third position. Of course, remember the tyres are completely new, and also Gunnar is now behind XR. Oh, well, he is. So XL then is up into 10th position, and also like you're saying, he's going to report Sam because of the collision there, which I think was in turn 7. I think it looks like Sam must have misjudged his braking point. I think it went to the back of Laggy. I don't know, but that's what came up at the bottom of the screen with a huge collision, and I just assume that's what happened. But of course, so that's a big shame. There's a lot of disappointments out there today, tonight. But this race is going to really test your mettle, isn't it? Tell you what, Emerson has took off, hasn't he? Of course, he's on the medium tyre, isn't he? Jonathan has gone to the hard tyre. So is new F1. So is Fisher. So the only man who's committed himself to a 2-stopper is this man here, Emerson. He has really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons then, hasn't he? We ain't even a half distance yet, remember? So those medium tyres are definitely not going to get to the end. I wonder if he's going to try and get to the soft tyres on the end. He's going to be lightning, isn't he? Emerson has. So even though he's a championship leader, he's definitely going for broke, isn't he, on the strategy? It's great stuff indeed, isn't it, for him? Someone like this, he's done the fastest up of the race as well, the 140. He is definitely not shy to definitely go his own way on the strategy. Remember, he won the race in Belgium, didn't he? Whilst everyone else went from medium to soft, he went from soft. I think he went from medium to hard, didn't he? And as a LH44, hey up cop. So or a cop. And now then is Emerson then is coming down the back straight line. So he is the man on the move at present. Let's take a quick look at the race order then. So Favre is leading. He started from 17th on the grid and is up into first, and he is a specialist coming from the back of the field, isn't he? Favre is brilliant stuff. Fisher has done an absolutely incredible job today. He really has. Absolutely fantastic stuff from Fisher today. Emerson is in third position then. Of course, he's the championship leader at the moment, isn't he? And he is going on a turn to strategy, which is great stuff. Nigel in fourth position. He qualified 15th. Lovely shot here at the rear wing here. Loving that. Nigel in fourth position at the moment. He started in 15th position, and he is in fourth position. He's also a similar strategy to Favre from him. Remember, Nigel won this race last year as well. And of course, remember, Jacob was absolutely flying around here, wasn't he? But Nigel was the man who was consistent. New F1 is in 6th position at the moment, and 7th position is Murphy, 8th position is Stringy, Steve in 9th, XR 10th, Gunnar is in 11th, and Roscoe's in 12th. Retirements, we've lost Twang, he had a steering wheel problem. Laggy and Gamer both collided with each other. Gamer has apologised, and Laggy, to honestly, I think reflect on it, was rightfully upset, to be honest. That's 2 races in a row where he's unfortunately retired for no fault of his own there for Laggy. But hopefully he'll bounce back, and hopefully he can come back, and we'll see him in Russia for the first time ever in ALR history. We've also got the BFD. Ross is out of the race as well on his debut, and we've also lost Sam as well. Sam on the opening lap there. I think he clashed with Laggy Racer, didn't he? And John Cox having a look there, but Nigel there wasn't giving him much room there, was he, Nigel at the moment? And LH44 is just as how we all are. Well, I'm very well. I'm not sure if the guys we just listed return are very well. I think some of them are really annoyed about this. And to be honest, it's a longer race as well. We've only just hit half distance, haven't we? So that's probably why they're so annoyed, because a lot of things can happen. And Jonathan Cox is now going on the inside. He is through into turn 7. He passes Nigel and it's moved up into 4th position there. And so this is very interesting indeed. He's 7 seconds behind from Emerson at the moment, and Emerson's got to make another stop. Yes, yeah, I'm very, as Al H just asked, we're very, very good. I hope you're alright as well. I hope you're enjoying the coverage here tonight, because it's been a fantastic race so far, hasn't it? Here in ALR. As Nigel now is going to have a lot of pressure. His new F1 is now all over the back as well. He's on the fresh tyres, 2-lap old tyres compared to Nigel, who's on 14-lap tyres as well. And as we just game where it's just as I said, but Sam drove in full in the first lap on laggy and almost hit me too. He didn't even brake for the first corner. Oh, so I think Sam might be in a as we'll come out of me, because Fisher has taken the lead and Farf is through as well. Look, Emerson's running behind them as well. Emerson's had an incredible whilst I've been nattering away, Emerson has had a flying couple of laps, hasn't he? And new F1 is now all over the back as Nigel as well. So this is really starting to close up as well. Yeah, I think Sam might have caused a bit of trouble again with both the Belgian drivers then. But of course, I don't want to comment too much because we didn't see the accident there, but we did see it flash up down the bottom. It did cause a major collision there. So I'm wondering if he just had issues with braking on the car or something. We don't know. We don't know what the issues are yet. New F1 is up into 5th position. He's passed Nigel and it's moved up into 5th position. Nigel there is back in, kicking out there. Murphy is also on the back of him as well. Emerson is through now and up into 2nd position as well. Emerson is flying now. I think Fisher is going to be a bit surprised to see Emerson so close to him. He's on the medium tyre, isn't he? He's committed to a 2-stopper. I think Fisher and Jonathan and UF1 and Murphy are all on the 1-stopper here. This is intriguing, isn't it? I'm really enjoying this. We haven't had many strategical battles in this race, but in this season, but we're had every round one now, haven't we? And XR is now up to 9th position. Roscoe is now up to 11th position. Then it's both Toro Rossos just past their rivals. Then now Murphy is now coming up to the back then of the season 1 champion Nigel at the moment. Then this is getting very, very tasty indeed, isn't it? As we approach, well, we're over half distance now, and we're over half distance, and it's been an incredible race, isn't it? We're usually 2/3 of the way through the race at this point. We're only half distance at the moment. This is how long this race is tonight. It's an endurance, this one is. And I'll tell you what, a big hand to all these guys that are still going around, because we haven't had no retirements actually since the scrappy opening couple of laps then. So now they're flying through then and coming under the grandstand here then. As Nigel then, who is of course been on those tyres since the opening bell, or the opening lights out then. Emerson then is at 6 seconds second back at the moment. We're keeping on that. We're also keeping on this battle here. Emerson's got a 3-second penalty. That's his first 3-second penalty of the season of the race at the moment. And Nigel is now coming up to a lot of pressure then on Murphy. Nigel, remember, he will be quick towards the end though. I wonder if he's going to throw on a set of medium tyres and then just and then go to the end from there, because I wonder if that's might be Farf's idea as well. Well, I have to say it's working well for Emerson, isn't it? He's throwing on a set of medium tyres on the hard tyre runners, and he's flying out there, isn't he? He's really flying. And he is gaining on Fisher, but so is Murphy gaining on Nigel as well. And this is the battle for 6th position. And Murphy then not throwing it in there just yet. Then he knows he's got a lot more to lose. Steve is back in the pits, and he's done 12 laps on the medium tyres. And I wonder if he's going to go on the hard tires. He's on the hard tires now, so he should be going to the end of the race. So is that giving us a preview of what how the strategy is going to be, how the strategy is going to play out there? That's going to be only 12 laps on the medium tires then. So these guys have got to get to at least, well, I would say at least at 19 then. And Nigel is really struggling, isn't he, on the traction there, isn't he? Back on board then, Murphy. At the moment in the Ferrari, he is stuck behind it. He needs to get by as quickly as possible, doesn't he, Nigel? But I think he's down to 7 laps on the medium tyres, and of course the more you stay behind the car, the more you get transfixed, don't you? And it's difficult to overtake someone. But we'll find. But of course, it's really interesting. I'm really lost for words really about this incredible strategical battle playing out. It's really up in the air, isn't it? and I'm absolutely enjoying this as well. So we're expecting the guys to come in, of Fisher and Farf in the next, and Nigel in the next couple of laps. No, it's not Fisher at all, is it? It's it's Farf and Nigel in the next couple of laps. We expect Fisher to stay out. We're expecting Emerson to come in very soon now, and you can see there's 7 seconds down in front. I'm wondering if Fisher, I think Fisher would definitely know that Emerson's still on the medium tyres, so he knows it. He knows it's really is still in prime position in this race, so he doesn't need to worry too much. We've got a yellow flag in at 3 because Gunner's gone off. I think he's damaged the car, and now Murphy got up the inside of Nigel. Nigel's not letting him go that easily, and he still remains in 6th position. This is really hurting Murphy in the battle between UF1 and Jonathan. And possibly even Emerson as well, but it depends, because Emerson's pace on those medium tyres has been absolutely electric, hasn't it? But and then you can see him resume the battle for the lead then between Fisher and Emerson, as Gunners on the medium is coming in, and he's damaged his car. He went straight on at turn 18, I think it was, or 19, towards the end of the lap, just this point here. So we went straight on there. Of course, we've had Ricardo going to the wall there. We've had Carter Kane go in the wall around there. So we've had a couple of really good drivers going there. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a very difficult track, very difficult one to avoid, isn't it? Especially when you're into a trance at the moment. So then I'm wondering. I think that Emerson's going to go on the soft tyres then to the end of this race, isn't he? So this is an interesting strategy. Emerson is the only man to do this strategy, I think. There might be a couple of guys down the field, but definitely Emerson is the only one to do this type of strategy at the sharp end of the field. Farf is now under pressure from Jonathan. Jonathan is now gaining on him as well. I gotta say, I've really enjoyed this strategical battle. Nigel's in the pits then, so Nigel is coming into the pits then, and he is going to put on a set of medium tyres, I think, now until the end of the race then. So that should get him through. Where is he going to come out though? Stringy's through already. I think Exxon might be through as well, so he might. Oh, and I don't think the Alfa Romeo guys are ready. Oh, they were ready. He just drove in front. Just drove for him. So now Jonathan is now all over the back. Nigel's dropped down to 9th position. He might be the meat in the Toro Rosso sandwich there in the battle for 9th position then. So, but I think he's got a good old advantage over Roscoe in 10th. So we've got the battle between Jonathan and Farf. We've also got the battle for the lead then between Fisher and Emerson. This is going to be squeaky bum time now, isn't it? Fisher, we don't think hasn't got a pit again. Emerson, we think, does have a pit again, but he's going to be absolutely electric on those soft tyres. The question is, he's going to be able to. It's going to be very similar to what Hamilton had to do, didn't he, in 2016, perhaps, something like that, where I think he was left out of the race. I think it was 15 or 16. Maybe even 14 actually. I can't remember. All those years kind of merged together, don't they? But of course Hamilton didn't put under the safety car, and he had to absolutely get away, didn't he? And then he come in the pits and then had to overtake Vettel. I think he was in the Red Bull at the time, so I think it might have been 2014. It's a bit cloudier around that era, but. Yeah, so it's Farf is coming in. Is he coming in the pits? He's staying out. Farf, I think, might be going on the soft compound tyres as well, so he's going to be electric, isn't he, towards the end of this race as well. He's doing a good job, Farf is, to keep those medium tyres. He has been on the tyres since the get-go. Farf has damaged his front wing now. We've got all sorts of lag going on there. That's not good at all, is it? And there's I'm wondering if they've come together when it was lagging. But Farf has damaged his front wing somewhere. He might have damaged it a while ago there. But Farf, unfortunately, he's dropped down to 4th position. He's still in the box seat, but that is going to cost him an extra 5 seconds in the pit lane if he's going to repair that wing. So Farf is down into 4th position, but he might be aiming to go on the soft tyres along with Emerson as well. Of course, Emerson, we've got 11 laps to go in this race, so that is the next big factor of this race now, is to see who goes on what tyre. UF1 is now starting to also cause a bit of pressure for Farf on board of Emerson then. And then coming down the boulevard straight then. We still got a good 11 laps to go in here. This is going to be fantastic, isn't it? Fisher at the moment has got a 13-second lead over Jonathan, who's the next man who is on the same strategy. Fisher has done an absolutely incredible race. Now we're just going to keep an eye on what's happening between Farf and New F1 as well. On board then with New F1, you can see we've got an awful lot of lag going on out there, haven't we, at the moment? So that's, I'm not sure if I hope it's as bad as it is for the drivers as it is for me. I hope it's not, because that is going to cause all sorts. I wonder if that might have been causing a couple of issues then with all sorts that was happening earlier on, perhaps. I don't know, but yeah, it's not helping there, is it? So now Jonathan there is just in front of us. He's a second up the road now. Farf is now in 4th position. But he is staying out again, so he is staying out. I reckon he's going on the soft tires, you know. So that is going to be interesting. The soft tires didn't last very long earlier on in the race, but they might, of course, with less fuel, they might last longer later on. This is new F1, and Sives down the inside, track position. He is through, and he takes 4th position away from Favre. Murphy is back in the pits, so Murphy is in the pits then. Well, and he's not changed. This is a strategy change for Murphy, and he is coming back out of the pits now. He is, and Stringy's in the pits as well. So all these guys are now starting to change their strategy slightly. So is Emerson? Was Emerson struck gold then? We'll find out soon. Well, Exile is staying out at the moment. Nigel set the fast out of the race. Nigel's now in front of Murphy. He's on the medium compound tyre. Nigel is. Murphy is out in 8th position. Stringy is in 9th position. And 10th position is Roscoe. It's Steve in 11th and Gunnar in 12th. And the battle for the lead is still raging on, isn't it? Now this is going to be interesting. With all the guys changing strategy behind them, this might cause some pressure for Fisher. Yeah, he's got a 13-second lead, almost 14 seconds. So he does have a sizable lead at this stage of the race, but that can easily disappear. I mean, did you see how quickly Emerson caught up to Fisher earlier on when he had fresh medium tyres? So that can disappear quite quickly. But remember, it's very difficult to pass on this track, isn't it? Of course, you can pass in the first DRS zone, and you can also pass in the down into turn 1 as well. But there's not many other places to overtake around here. But you definitely need to be on your toes if you do try. As run lap 22 then out 31. When is the soft tires going to go on? Favre is still on the medium tires, still on the hard tires since he started this race. Stringy is now all over the back of Roscoe to go over the Anderson Bridge then. Stringy has just stopped. Roscoe's on 17 lap tires as well, so he's been on since almost the get-go as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of guys that are just trying to limp home. Roscoe there, Stringy's on the outside, he's up the inside, passes Roscoe and moves up into 9th position then. So it was a quite easy overtake there because Roscoe is on a lot older tires. Well, Stringy and Dan have just come in the pits and so is Nigel as well then. So all those guys are on fresh tires. Exile's also in the pits as well. Really interesting stuff, isn't it? This is incredible stuff. Where is Exile going to drop out then? So he's got a big buffer between himself and Stringy at the moment. I don't think that's going to be enough though. I think Stringy might creep by, and if he creeps by, I think so will Roscoe as well. So I think so. What to tire? So we're just waiting to see when Emerson blinks and when he comes into the pits or the soft tires. Same with Farf as well. Those guys are going to be electric at the end. The question is though, is the soft tires going to give themselves enough chance to not only catch but also pass the guys in front? To be honest, and Roscoe's on the soft tires straight, so he's on the soft tires now. That's 9 laps on the soft tires. That might be a bit of a stretch there, but I am wrong quite often about strategy. So don't take that as gospel. Now then, Emerson back on board then with the championship leader then. As it stands, and he's 13 seconds in front of Jonathan. The gap has stabilised, hasn't it? So Jonathan is not really actually hunting him down yet at the moment. So Emerson doing a good job on the medium tyres. Yellow flag in 1. Why is there a yellow flag in 1? Just taking a look. I think it was just slowing down there. So cracking stuff then. Yeah, I think it was Gunnar just being lapped then, who is in 12th position. This is a very difficult track, isn't it? So I think an absolute good stuff to see. 12 people still remain this. We haven't had a retirement in well over 15 odd laps here. So brilliant driving from all guys up and down the field. Really impressive stuff. Farf's got a 3-second penalty. That's another 3. That's 9 seconds worth of penalties now for Farf. That's going to come back to I might come back into play later on. I don't think any other people have had many penalties. Dan Murphy is at the fast lap of the race then, so Murphy is now starting to get himself going again. He is a second behind that Nigel, but he's 22 seconds behind Favre as it stands. Favre, if he pits now, I think, what is the time difference? I think it's over 22 seconds, isn't it, to come out of the pit. So Favre will be behind Nigel and Murphy. But I think you should stop between Murphy and Stringy for 6th. So for 6th, 7th position, Favre should come out in. Where would Emerson come out then? This is my rear pole mask now. I think Emerson should be out in 4th position. Lovely shot. We had a very brief shot there. Gunnar is on fresh medium tyres, and he is and he'll be gaining on Emerson at this stage. They keep going under the track there, don't they? There must be a subway. I think there is actually a subway around here, isn't it? I don't mean the subway in terms of sandwiches, even though I do think of food a lot. I think it means trains. I think it's trains. As now into the pits comes Emerson. He has to slow down. He has slowed down, and he's in the pits. And so where is he going to come out? So this is a 2-stop strategy. A lot of people on a 2-stop strategy now. I think Emerson was one of the early adopters to this in terms of the guys from the front away. He is on the soft tires. He is going to go to the end. He is going to be electric now. New F1 has gone through. Farf is staying out. So Farf is staying out of the pits at the moment. So he is going to go a lap longer then. And I've got a tickle in my throat. 1 second. As we just see Emerson come out of the pits. He's feeding now in 5th position. And on the soft tyre. So Emerson's now in 5th position, and he's on the soft tyre. Farf's done 23 laps then on the on those hard tyres, so he's going to be easy meat, isn't he? But of course, Farf will be coming in the pits, I think, in the not too distant future, and we'll be thrown on a set of soft tyres as well. But I think I'm wondering if they left it too long. Do you reckon? Do you think it's too late in the day now for Emerson to do anything? Emerson was in 2nd position. He's dropped down to 5th now, so he's given himself an awful lot of work to do to pass New F1 and Jonathan with just a handful of laps to go. Murphy sighs at the inside. He is through past Nigel and up into 6th position, and Nigel is now dropping down to 7th and in the Alfa Romeo. Emerson, well, I say he's got an awful lot of work to do. He's already onto the back. He's taken 3 seconds out of Farf in an instant, hasn't he? He's all over the back of Farf then already. Emerson is, of course. Remember, these two are championship rivals, aren't they? But on completely different strategies at the moment. And now getting very close there, and Emerson there. He doesn't need to risk it, but at the same time, he wants to probably get by, and he probably would like to get by at New F1 and Jonathan as well. I think this strategy has probably cemented his second, has probably not given himself a chance for the win here, but I think that Fisher was just absolutely flying, wasn't he? And now Farf is in the pits as well as Emerson moves up into 4th position, and we're keeping on Emerson, and that's a 5-second penalty for New F1 for speeding in the pit lane. That is a big blow then for New F1 then, as the running mechanics go to work then. So he's damaged his front wing. That's why New F1 has damaged his front wing. He is on the medium compound tire again. That is a big blow for New F1. I think there's too much of a gap then for or is there? I think Murphy's going to get out in front. Murphy is going to get out in front. He is out in front of New F1. And so is Nigel. New F1 has cost himself a podium here, I think. He will be quick on the medium tyre. But that's a big blow for New F1. He's damaged his front wing, so he's coming out of the pits now in that 6th position. Stringy is out in 7th position. Farf comes out in 8th position. He'll be on the soft tyre, so he will be super quick. But yeah, Farfen will be super quick then towards the end of this race. And the question is, do you reckon it would have been better to go into the heart of the medium tyre then, perhaps? Depending on, judging on how this race is going, I wonder if he was also waiting for a safety car. Believe it or not, we've had no safety cars here tonight. I think we should have had one with when Laggy and Gamer, when Laggy went into the side of Gamer on the pit straight. But that just didn't happen, which is surprising me, because they were both in the middle of the track. It was a big old smash there, wasn't it, between the two Belgian drivers? Which is a bit of a shame, but that's unfortunate. But we look forward to seeing both of them guys back in 2 weeks' time when we return to the Russian Grand Prix. It'll be the first time ALR has been in Russia. So of course we missed Russia last season, didn't we? So it's great to see. It's great to have ALR in Russia for the first time. And it'd be good stuff indeed. As Jonathan has just had a penalty there, didn't he? I think that's his 2nd penalty, so he's now got a 6-second worth of time penalty. So Emerson is just at the fast side of the race then. So 16 seconds to go between Fisher and Jonathan. This is a dominant performance from Fisher. This is probably one of the most dominating performances of ALR, isn't it? I think the only other one that comes to mind is Jonathan back in Hungary. In terms of domination, that is incredible, isn't it? Fisher's done it. He's owned this track tonight, hasn't he? On board Dave Emerson, who is the fastest man trying alone. He is on 16 points as it stands, and he is really now starting to reel out a lead, isn't he? Emerson is. So Emerson will have more than a wins more than a win in terms of championship advantage then. So whatever happens in 2 weeks time in Russia, he will retain the title. If it stays, it will retain the lead. If it stays as it is currently, which there is still 5 more laps to go in this race, so it is not over, not by a long shot either. I'm really enjoying this overhead shot though of Emerson then, as he is just dancing his way through the Singapore track and over the Anderson Bridge then, and now down Raffles Boulevard then, and accelerating away then. As you can see, it's incredible, isn't it? This track has been on the calendar since 2008, hasn't it? The first ever night race, this Singapore race was. I remember when F1 first came here, it was all about the floodline, wasn't it, and things like that, and how it was going to be difficult if it rained and stuff. But I think the only ever one race was in 2017, wasn't it? Of course, that was a cracker, wasn't it? Well, it would have been an even better race, wasn't it? But unfortunately, we lost both Ferraris and Max Verstappen before we even got to turn 1, and we even lost Alonso. Alonso was flying after the start. He really showed them some lightning quickness there. Just going down the field, then Farf in 8th position at the moment. So Farf's championship challenge is really starting to falter now, isn't it? As of course they promised in qualifying, and now he's down in 8th position. Only going to get 4 points, isn't he? Jonathan Cox will move up into third in the championship. Jonathan Cox has been an absolute demon, hasn't he? In the second half of the season. Apart from Italy, he has been absolutely. He's been the form of his life, hasn't he? But he's going to need to get some quick laps under his belt now, because he's going to have to be absolutely phenomenal to keep Emerson behind. So at the moment then, the only 2 men that is stuck to the one-stop strategy, Favre has got no penalty. That's 12 seconds worth of penalty now for Favre. So he is he's in danger of losing 8th position to Exar. I'm not sure what Exar's penalties are, but I know Favre has got 4 penalties now. Fisher is now, of course, Fisher and Jonathan doing 1 stopper. Their first and second mode. Emerson's on the 2 stopper, so he's got medium, soft. Murphy is also, I think he went from medium hard to medium. Murphy did, so I think he might just change his strategy on the fly. Nigel went from hard to medium, and also at new F1 there. Also, unfortunately, had to make an extra stop because of the damage that he sustained. Royce, I think he would have been a similar boat as Jonathan and Fisher, and he was third, I think, before that issue happened. So that's a shame for New F1, isn't it? He would have wanted a podium in his second race, in 2 podiums in 2 races for New F1. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Here is as a New F1 is now caught up to the back of Nigel. Roscoe's in the pits in front on the set of soft tires now to the end. He is only a second behind Steve at the moment. So that's a good battle for the final points at the moment. So this is going to get very interesting. We've also got New F1 and battling with Nigel. We've also got Emerson also catching on Jonathan as well into the final stages of this race. And this is it's been a very long and tiresome race, hasn't it? As I said earlier, a big hand to all these guys. As Nigel's got 3 second penalty, that's going to help a New F1, I think. Catch on him. There it is then. This is the battle then between UF1 and Nigel. Nigel, of course, the defending champion. He's not statistically lost the title yet, has he? Of course, he won it incredibly well in Monaco, didn't he? But yeah, he's shown flashes of pace, Nigel has this season. But overall, I wonder if the game just doesn't match his driving style. Or if you can see he's getting very wobbly there, and now New F1 is going to go side by side and down this straight. Down there's a kink in the middle, and he is through and up into 5th position. UF1 is, remember, he's recovering after the damage he sustained earlier on, and now Farf's going to do the same. It was a very late attempt there, but Stringy's going right off the track then. Now Farf is on the outside going into turn 8. Then as they go side by side, then Farf's going to do the old switcheroo. Not quite there, because Stringy's got a good traction, but he's going to go on the outside. He is on the outside. That's incredible manoeuvre there from Favre. He is on the outside. He takes Stringy, and he has moved up into 7th position. And brilliant driving there from Favre. Absolutely stunning stuff. And Stringy made it as hard as he could, because he didn't want to get overtaken on the outside. But unfortunately, Favre is now up to 7th position, so Stringy down to 8th. But remember, I'm not sure Stringy's aware, but Favre has 12 seconds worth of penalty. I'm not sure how many Stringy's got, but Stringy might get second and might get 7th in the end after all is said and done in this race. Of course, Stringy, since coming into ALR, has been very consistent, hasn't he? As Twang has just mentioned in the driver chat, he's very disappointed with his Thrustmaster. It is a shame, really, because Twang would have got some very good points on his return. Of course, Twang has scored. How many points did he score earlier on in his first 5 races? Well, in his first 5 races, he got second position in Bahrain. He got a third position in Azerbaijan. He only had 4 races, didn't he? Of course, he missed China. So yeah, Twang was really had some form, didn't he? He had 35 points after 4 races this season. So yeah, he could be in the hunt as well. On board then with Emerson. He is definitely in the hunt now, isn't he? He's under a second then behind Jonathan, then in the battle for second. Then I think Fisher is just checked out, as he's been fantastic. We haven't seen him on the broadcast, has we, Fisher? He has just been absolutely dominating today. I think this is probably one of the most dominating performances of the season. And Farford Stringy now battling away. Stringy's back, and Farford's back up the inside of Stringy. And wow, I thought it hasn't been done and dusted, has it, for Farford? Because Stringy there really coming back out in there. This is a good old scrap, isn't it? Between Farf and Stringy in the final stage. I wonder if Farf knows that he's got a 12-second penalty. It's going to be difficult to maintain, but he still would like to pull away, won't he? Because because he's now going to. Because I think that Stringy, because he would have liked to pull away on the soft tires. Because I don't think Stringy would have got 12 seconds worth of time over Stringy anyway. I think it would have been an absolutely mammoth effort. But I really don't think that would have happened. And on lap 30 out of 31, the gap is 19.4 seconds. That is absolutely dominating from Fisher. Really is. Incredible performance there from Fisher today. It's been, I tell you what, this has been an impressive drive there, and I think a lot of drivers are going to stand up and take notice of this. Fisher did say he likes this track, but even still, to be 19 seconds in front of second place Jonathan Cox is incredible. Behind 19 seconds in front of Emerson as well. It's just on another level, isn't it? Really incredible stuff indeed. So then let's just take a look at stock then on lap 30 out of 31. Fisher leads 20 seconds, almost the gap between himself and Jonathan, who is second. Emerson is third. He's on the soft tire. Fourth position is Murphy. He's 20 seconds back at the moment with New F1 in fifth. And I think Emerson has just hit the wall. Has he damaged the car? I think he's still got the end plate. He has still got the end plate. I think he's a lucky boy there. New F1 in 5th position. Nigel 6th. Farf is 7th. But he's going to have all sorts of troubles with Stringy. I think Stringy is not giving up. And he will be, well, he's definitely not giving up, because he could get 7th in the end. XR is 8th. XR is 9th. Steve is in 10th position, but he's got Roscoe. He's got Roscoe for company in 11th position. So that's going to be a battle for the final point. And Gunnar is in 12th position, who's just been lapped then in the McLaren. Lap 31 then. Fisher then is on his final tour of Singapore. Tell you what, it's been an incredible race, hasn't it, Fisher? As you can see, there's a lot of bumping. Oh, sorry, a lot of bumping going on out there, isn't there? In terms of the going under the track and everything. Of course, remember, I think in the first couple of years they had issues with electronics, didn't they? There's a lot of cars that stopped, especially in the hybrid year, wasn't it? 2014, we had Williams that stopped. We had all sorts going on, didn't we? In 2014, of course, Rosberg's car just completely shut off on the parade lap. And now then it's Emerson. This is probably Emerson's final chance, and this might come back to penalties in the end. Yeah, this might come back to penalties in the end. It depends on who's got what, but I think Emerson is too far back. I wonder if soft tires have finished for the day. Fisher then over the Anderson Bridge, and on lap 31, this man has been dominating. Has he lost the lead? I think he lost the lead briefly to Farf, didn't he? Apart from that, he's had a 20-second lead. That is incredible stuff, isn't it, from Fisher? This will be his first win in ALR. He got his first pole position, didn't he, earlier on, and now he's going to get his first win in ALR. And I think that this is a very good run. And Mercedes, of course, are 9th in the constructors at the moment, 9th or 10th in the championship. This is going to be a big run of points there for the Mercedes, and he comes through the chicane then for the final time. And you can see then 22 and 23. Here he goes. Fisher exits the final couple of corners, and he wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Incredible stuff from Stringy. An absolutely dominant drive from Fisher. His first win in ALR, and first of many, I would say. Steve finishes 10th in the end with Roscoe 11th. Who is going to finish second? Then we're on board Jonathan. He's just got into the wall there and damaged his end plate there on the final run there. And it's great to see Gamer still with us. He's just congratulated Fisher. Jonathan finishes second in the end. No, Emerson will finish second in the end. And a third position there goes Jonathan. So Emerson there gets second in the end on a two-stop strategy there for Emerson. and he extends his lead in the championship then. So brilliant stuff. Jonathan, I think, will move up into 7th actually. Now coming through, Murphy will finish 4th, and I think he'll be pleasantly happy with that. New F1 finishes 5th, and he scores, got a 5-second penalty for and Nigel there, really getting opposite lock there, and Nigel's going to come through and finish 6th then here in Singapore. Oh, he's run out of fuel. Nigel finishes 5th actually, because the new F1's penalties there. 6th position for Favre. Stringy will get 7th in the end, 7th position for Favre. Stringy in 8th position, and Exile is coming through to finish 9th then in the Toro Rosso. Absolutely incredible drive today from Fisher. He is the man at the moment. Brilliant drive from Fisher. Fantastic stuff. And Nathan Hughes said, nice one, Fisher. Yes, grazie, having for a position. It was a fantastic drive from Fisher. Absolutely stupendous. It really was from Fisher. Really impressive stuff. I know Gamer said, good race, boys, good race. It was a good race, wasn't it? It was a shame we didn't see Gamer more in it, but I'll tell you what, he's got some potential, hasn't he, on his debut. Brilliant. But I think this man, though, he has stolen the limelight, hasn't he, today? He has dominated from start to finish in proceedings. I think that is one of the most dominant drives in ALR history. That is absolutely phenomenal. So then, let's just take a quick look then at the final classification then from the Singapore Grand Prix. It is Fisher who won from pole position to checker flag. Emerson was 2nd in the end, did a 2-stopper there. Jonathan in 3rd position then for Racing Point. Murphy finishes 4th with Nigel from 15th to 5th. Impressive stuff. New F1 is in at 6th position. 7th position is Favre. 8th position is Exile. 9th position is Stringy. 10th position is Steve. 11th position was Roscoe and Gunnar in 12th position. The retirements, we had Twang, Laggy, Gamer, Ross, and also Sam. Then those were our retirements in the Singapore Grand Prix. And the Fishers join us in the commentary box now. What an incredible event you had. You from pole position to checker flag. It was an absolutely incredible drive. That's the most dominant display we've seen in ALR. Talk us through it.
Yeah, that was a fun one. It's been a difficult few beginning races I'd say in ALR so far, getting tangled up in first corner instance and things, and coming to pretty much my favourite track on the calendar. I had a pretty good idea that I'd hopefully have some decent pace. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that much through the race, and obviously as the race was going on and everyone else was getting tired out, I'd been sort of coasting through the first stint or so it kind of just allowed me to open up the gap when I needed to, and apart from getting slowed down a little bit by Farf at some point, everything was pretty much plain sailing, so it was a really enjoyable one.
I was going to say, the only time you lost the lead was when Farf overtook you for the lead. That was absolutely incredible stuff.
Yeah, put Emerson right on my tail as well, so that was a fun few laps trying to keep him behind.
Yeah, it was. Did that surprise you that Emerson was on an alternative strategy? Because he went from medium to soft. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I don't really know why, but yeah, it did surprise me. Obviously, it's not what I would have done or did. Track position is everything on this track, and I think I proved, even when he was on pretty much fresh mediums behind me, he couldn't get past me. So,
did it worry you a bit when you realised that he was so close, or did you notice the tyre, or did you notice the tyre option straight away?
I knew that he was going to have to pit again, so I was alright. I spoke to who I was going to party with and said, if he's quicker than me, I'm just going to let him by. And he probably was quicker than me, but it wasn't by enough for me to want to let him by, because when you're behind someone, you start braking a little bit earlier and accelerating a little bit later, and you start losing time to other people behind. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to try win this in the best way possible, and I don't want to let go of the lead now. I've got it back again, so.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff for you. We've got a 2-week break now going into Russia. So you looking forward to Russia? I think you would be after this incredible display.
Hopefully. I mean, it's all about just not getting myself involved in lap one instance and kind of. I feel like I've got decent pace to challenge the guys at the top week in, week out. It's just about, keeping everything nice and clean.
I was going to say, I've described you as like a Vettel in terms of 2008, where you kept getting involved in incidents. It wasn't his fault. So when you have clean races, my gosh, you were flying today. I think that was your first clean race actually. So that's definitely
every other race if something's happened.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Well done, Fisher. Brilliant stuff indeed. Your first win, man. Your first pole position, dominating. Murphy's just joined us in the commentary box as well. Murphy, have you got anything to say?
The undercut's strong round there, isn't it? That's all I got to say.
Like 3 seconds or something mad.
Yeah, that I undercut new F1 brilliantly, like a boss. But no, it was a really tough race, and I don't know where Fisher got his speed from. I think he was just phenomenal today. No one could touch him. No one.
Lot of practice.
To be honest, I think that was actually the most dominating display in ALR history. I've just had a quick look, and I don't think anyone was absolutely touched you. So incredible stuff. Well done, Fisher. Let's go to Emerson now. Of course, Emerson finished in second today, and that is actually good news for his championship host, because he's extended his lead now. Emerson, great drive today, but first I've got to ask you, was that 2-stop always planned?
Not particularly. I mean, I did kind of hope that it was going to be a little bit faster, but the tyre wear was too much. I think probably should have gone from the mediums to the hards, and then maybe to the softs again, like sort of what everyone else did. But I guess I had to try something different to try and win the race, but obviously it didn't work out.
Oh, definitely threw the cat amongst the pigeons, I must say. But your speed on the medium tyres was lightning. I did ask Fisher if he was worried when he seen you right behind you, but yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't even see you come out of nowhere. Incredible stuff. But anyway, going on to Russia now. We haven't got many races left to go now. I'd say that you've got one hand on the trophy now, surely, because that's over a race wins advantage over second place, which I think, quick calculations, is still granted.
Well, anything can happen still, but yeah, I mean, it's good to have that buffer, but still could easily not finish a race, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. You have turned the championship on its head since you come here. First 4 races, you won 3 of them incredibly well. Had a difficult spell, and now all of a sudden you're back on it again. Really shows that you have some metal in you. Absolutely fantastic. And now we come to Jonathan. Then, Jonathan, I think you had a very good race as well. And I think you moved up to third in the championship. Now your consistency in the second half of the season is definitely an eye opener for the likes of Emerson and Grante. What is your aspirations then?
Of course, to win the championship, but I'm going to need some of the other top guys to retire in some of the races. But I'm enjoying the battle. But I've got to say congratulations to Fishers and to Emerson as well. I Fishers for his first win in ALR, and Emerson for finishing on the podium as well. So congratulations, guys, and look forward to Russia.
Indeed, of course, we do have a 2-week. We do have a 2-week break now in ALR because Mexico and USA is on the next 2 weeks. So, and of course, that is the most important thing in definitely in my life. Anyway, but Jonathan, just reiterating about the race today as well. Then, because you had a one-stopper along with Fisher. Then, do you think that was the quickest way, or would you have thought about going on to a 2-stopper?
Perhaps maybe for the last 5 or 6 laps, I was still contemplating going back in the pits to put on some softs. But I just thought I'd keep going, and the tyres were still feeling fine, so I just kept going and did the one stuff, and I finished third, which I'm happy about.
Absolutely cracking stuff, Ed. Thank you to all the guys that have joined me in the commentary box today. Well done to Jonathan, well done to Emerson, and well done to Fisher. Brilliant performances today in probably what is probably the toughest race of the season, I would say. The longest race. That's definitely for a fact. Join us in 2 weeks' time, as we'll be in Russia. The first ever time the ALR has been in Russia, so this is going to be one for the form book, isn't it? Join us then. But for now, it's goodbye.